life unto Christ, God, the word of God showed me. Lord, you're the one and the only. Satan try use and control me. I'd rather have your grace than a trophy. I'm giving you all of the praise and the glory. I'm praying for the Lord to please mold me. I wanna do your will, Lord, please show me. Move out the Holy Spirit, I'm not holy. See, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for. The Holy Spirit, all in you. I will confide in you, put trust in you, that's what I will do. See, there is no one
Hey,
else
blessings,
like you,
beautiful
no,
Queen
no.
Latasha.
Could
How
never
you
ever do it by
doing,
myself,
sis?
no.
Shabbat
Never put trust in
shalom,
a
my
flesh.
wonderful sister.
No,
Let's
I'm gonna
go.
call upon your name and ask for the Holy Spirit. I always wondered, what would I do if I didn't know that I can call upon you? It is your perfect will that has seen me through. If he did it for me, then he will do it for you. I always wondered, what would I do if I didn't know that I can call upon you? It is your perfect will that has seen me through. If he did it for me, then he will do it for you. I gave my life unto Christ, God, the word of God showed me. Lord, you're the one and the only. Satan try use and control me. I'd rather have your grace than a trophy. I'm giving you all of the praise and the glory. I'm praying for the Lord to please mold me. I wanna do your will, Lord, please show me. Move out the Holy Spirit, I'm not holy. See, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for the Holy Spirit.
God knows I'm trying to elevate, but there's a problem, mate. Every day the flesh is trying to dominate. Speaking tongues, don't hesitate. Some people talk scripture, but I demonstrate. Started with a load of friends, but most of them just fell away. Give your life to Christ and watch the old man simply fade away. Jesus Christ, the only way, the only one who made the way. No delay, paid the price and no one else could ever pay. I don't know if you can handle this. Holy Spirit, turn the Muslim to an evangelist. Yeah, I'm high on the spirit, no cannabis. Yeah, we live what we speak, no camera
My
tricks.
brother
Listen,
Terrell,
no
I
games, no
see you
gimmicks.
out
Holy
here, my
Spirit on
big
me,
bro.
so
How
you know
you
there's no
doing,
limits.
G?
Let your light
Shabbat
shine, family,
shalom.
don't dim it. Every day trying to be filled with the spirit, what we tell
I gave my life unto Christ, God, the word of God showed me. Lord, you're the one and the only. Satan try use and control me. I'd rather have your grace than a trophy. I'm giving you all of the praise and the glory. I'm praying for the Lord to please mold me. I wanna do your will, Lord, please show me. Move out the Holy Spirit, I'm not holy. See, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for, I'm asking for it, I'm asking for the Holy Spirit.
Hey, all praises, families. Families, once again, we are back. All praises to the Most High Yah. Families, I first want to give all thanks, glory, honor, and power to the Most High Yahuwah, His only begotten Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, those that call him Jesus Christ of Nazareth all around the world, as well known as Emmanuel, families. And as well, the set apart Ruach HaKodesh, families, that Holy Spirit. Now, families, this lesson is finna be amazing. Families, we finna get the true meaning about the hidden manna, that bread that came down from heaven, families. And as well, families, if the Most Highs permit, tomorrow, we gonna get an understanding is, do the Most High hate? Do he hate anything? Because the Most High is full of love. But the Most High do tell you the things that he do hate. With that being said, families, we is going to go to 2 Timothy 4 and 18. 4 and 18. Hey, blessings, beautiful Queen Mama Miranda. Now, families, you know about 5 minutes into this video, it's going to kick everybody out. So just come back and see your brother. We will be here. Beautiful Queen Mama Miranda. Shabbat Shalom, my loving sister. Make sure you give beautiful Queen Teray Ali my prayers and blessings, and all praises to the Most High. With that being said, families, we're going to read verses 1 through 8. And then we're going to jump down to verse number 18. James chapter 1 verse 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 1. I charge thee therefore before the Most High and the Almighty Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing of his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. The Most High want us to make sure that we stay instant, families. Pray without ceasing. On top of that, families, in season and out of season, you will never change. Why? Because the Most High never changes. Verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having ancient ears. The reason why the Most High is trying to inform us because he was trying to tell us to beware of false Christ in the hour of our tribulation, families. The great tribulation from great to come upon us. So there's going to be a famine in the world. The Most High in Matthew chapter 24, he tells you, Yeshua tells you that he did not want you to worry about rumors of wars and nations going against nations. He told you do not be troubled off that. The reason why he told you that because he wants you to prepare yourself for the wilderness. Why do he want you to prepare yourself? Check this out. For I am now ready to be offered. Who's going to be ready to be offered? And the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. The faith of what, families? The faith of believing in the word of the Most High will endure, will stay inside of you until the end of your days. Check this out. Verse 8. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness. What crown of righteousness? That same crown of righteousness that you will receive when you make it to the new kingdom, families. But you must prepare yourself for the wilderness. You must prepare yourself. Why? Everything is going chaotic, families, all around the world. Families, when you go into the wilderness, that's going to be your safe haven. But how do you know that you're going to, how do you hear that calling to head towards the wilderness? What is the wilderness? We're going to get that. And when you go into the wilderness, the Most High will open up the heavens again, and he tells you that he's going to give you this hidden manna. That hidden manna you will find in Revelation chapter 2, verse 17, families. But let's continue this. What are they telling us? Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Most High, the righteous judge, shall give me at the day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Let's jump down to verse 18. Let's read verse 17 and 18. Notwithstanding, the Most High stood with me and strengthened me, that by me the preaching might be fully known, and that all the Gentiles might hear. And I was delivered out of the mouth of the lion. And the Most High shall deliver me from every evil work, and will preserve me unto his heavenly kingdom. He's going to preserve you, families. You will be preserved. Oh, man, that is so beautiful. Check this out. To whom be glory forever and ever. Amen. Now, families, the precept to this will be in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 21. That will be that precept to this right here. We're going to go to that. But we must get an understanding that when Paul was writing the New Testament, families, when he wrote Paul is the writer of the New Testament. But the gospel families, was only Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew. Only them 4 books. Only them 4 apostles. And only them apostles, families, was actually teaching you how you're supposed to prepare yourself, what you're not supposed to be worrying about, because they actually walked in the ways of Yeshua. Now, families, James was Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Emmanuel, Yeshua HaMashiach, big brother. He was the oldest. Now, families, what was James trying to tell us? What was big bro James trying to tell us? Let's go to James 1. Let's go to James 1. Now, families, you will read James 1 all the way down. But it's going to take certain little pieces of here because uh James and Paul was having differences, families. They was having bad differences. And families, they actually had a debate. James and Paul ended up having a debate about who was going to be the true leader of the Gentiles, which it was appointed to Paul. And Paul did write the New Testament, families. But the gospel was only written by Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew. So we're going to keep our focus on them four right there. Why? Because the New Testament is only supposed to be about the what? The gospel, correct? The new covenant is only supposed to be focused on was the kingdom of the Most High and the gospel. So who are our main pieces that we need to be focusing on? We need to be focused on Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew way before you even get to Paul. And then we need to find out why did James had like a grudge against Paul. We're gonna find that out. Check this out, families. James chapter 1, verse 21. Let's read verse 20. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High. He's telling you whenever you try to do things in your own hands, families, it's not of the Most High. It's not righteousness of His will, because He the one that brings vengeance. Verse 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and super filthy of naughtiness, and receive with meekness. What you gonna receive, families? He's gonna tell you the engrafting word. What engrafting word? The engrafting word, families, is the gospel. So who are you supposed to be focusing on? What was big brother James trying to tell us? He was the oldest brother of Christ. What was he trying to tell us? Check this out. Which is able to save your souls. Your key focus is your salvation, because your personal salvation is your future of what you're going to be doing forever. Families, this ain't no temporary thing. Either you going to when you leave this realm, you either going to be on one side or the other, and it's going to be forever. Check this out. Let's go to Exodus chapter 16, and we're going to read verse 1 through 5. Because, families, he told you what that bread, what that manna was in the book of Exodus. But, families, there was two different meanings of that manna, families. There was a physical meaning of the flesh, a carnal mind, people that's double-minded, unstable in all their ways. And then you as well got a spiritual meaning, which you will find in John chapter 6. And families, Hamashiach is going to tell you what that true manna was that the children of Yasharallah ate when they was in the wilderness, families. And families, it said it was angel food. That angel food was the words of the Most High. And we're going to prove that. Check this out. Exodus chapter 16, 1 through 5. Salakia. Check this out, family. Rightly divide the word of truth, families, and you will open up things. Watch this. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Yasharallah came into the wilderness of sin. Why did they call it the wilderness of sin? You need to highlight that right there. Which is between Elim and Sinai. Mount Sinai is what they call Mount Moses. Mount Sinai. That's the exact same mount, families, where he received the what? The two tablets, families. The law of the covenant. Let's go. On the 15th day of the second month, after their departing out of the land of Egypt, and the whole congregation of the children of Yasharallah murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness, This is the wilderness. This is preparing you for the wilderness. And that hidden manna, which you will find in Revelation chapter 2 and 17, families. That hidden manna, that precept will be Hebrews chapter 9 and 4. He's going to tell you the answer. You just got to be patient with it. Watch this. And the children of Yasharallah said unto them, with the Most High, we have died by the hand of the Most High in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots of carnal mind, and when we did eat the bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. They were thinking carnal minded families, because they think that the Most High sent them into the wilderness, families, to starve them. But no, families, the Most High was sending them there to preserve them. Check this out. Then said the Most High unto Moses, behold, I will rain down. What did he rain down, families? From heaven for you, and the people shall go and gather at certain rate every day, that I may prove them. What he's going to prove, families, when he's raining, what is he going to rain down to you? People is thinking that it was angel food for real. They thinking it was some type of food that the angels eat. No, families, that food is spiritual food. It's the words of the Most High that you were supposed to be eating. That's what that was, families. That's what that hidden manna was. And families, you're gonna find out why a lot of people left Yahusha when he sat there and says that he is their bread of life. We're gonna read that. Check this out. And that's what he mean about gathering now. We supposed to be gathering ourselves together, families. We are that hidden manna, families. And then the word of the Most High is going to fill us. But we must gather ourselves together first. He was speaking symbolically here, and people didn't see that. Check this out. Then said the Most High unto Moses, behold, I will rain down from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather at a certain rate every day. What you supposed to be gathering now? You supposed to be gathering out the lost sheep right now, that I may prove them. How you going to prove them? You're going to prove them from the word, the seed of the word of the Most High, to show them their convictions. They will walk in my law and know. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare. What you going to prepare when you're in this wilderness, families? That which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. This is your double portion. What is that double portion that people don't speak about? Because people think they're talking about food or wealth or something like that. No. Your double portion, families, is the word of the Most High, which is his law, and the people that you gather so you can speak to them and tell them the mysteries of it, families. That's what it is. That's what a double portion is. Not only did you get the word, but families, you even gather some lost sheep to help them during their spiritual walk. Check this out. Now we need to go to. Now we need to jump down to 31 through 36. 31 through 36. Let's read verse 29. So for the Most High have given you the Sabbath. Therefore he give you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. What bread, families? Abide, obey ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day, and the house of Yasharallah called the name thereof manna, and it was like a coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like the wafers made of honey. And Moses said, this is the thing which the Most High commandeth. This was a command, families. Filleth Omer of it to be kept for your generations. It will go from generation to generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. Now, families, he is going to tell you what this true manna is, families, and people is calling it angel food. The Most High said it was angel food. He sent his messengers to give you the truth, the word of the Most High. That's what it was. Check this out. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Most High to be kept for your generations. And the Most High commanded Moses, and Aaron laid it up before the testimony. What testimony, families? To be kept. The testimonies that we supposed to be teaching to this in this hour. Not that watered down stuff. When you got doubt, doubt is being double mounted. When you saying if, you double minded. When you saying it could be, that's being double minded. No. The Most High said and said, so you can prove them, reprove them, and rebuke them that don't have that understanding. Check this out. And the children of Yasharallah did eat manna, and they ate it for 40 years, families, until they came to the land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came into the borders of the lands of Canaan. Now, an omer is the 10th part of the ephah. Now, families, these are some key words that you need to get focused on. There was key places that the Most High told you about, and He named these certain places. The exact same certain places is still in the exact same location. Why is that? People they taking you off your course, families. They try to send you somewhere. Now, let's go back up to where we get our first place. Where that first place at, families? It might be in the book of Numbers, chapter 11, if I'm not mistaken. I got to find it first, family. Yeah, it's right here. The wilderness of sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. Elim is a key word, and Sinai is a key word right there, families. You look them words up, families, and you get this biblical meaning between them words right there. After that, families, then you'll go to another place. The reason why the Most High called this place that, families, because they started complaining. So the Most High punished them for complaining, families. What you complaining for when I'm providing for you? Check this out. Verse 31. And the house of Yasharallah called the name thereof Manna, and it was like a corn seed, white, and the taste of it was like the wafers made of honey. To find your precept to this, families, will be in a Revelations, when Christ was trying to tell you what the children of Yasharallah really got that day, but they did not know what they received that day. Check this out, families. Revelations chapter 2. The children of Israel did not know, families. They understanding was far from the hearts of the Most High. They did not know what they received that day. But Hamashiach is going to tell you exactly what they received. Watch this. Verse 7. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. To send to him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of the Most High. Check this out. For none, verse 10, families, write these down now. For none of those things which thou shalt suffer, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. Why you always got to be tried? Because the Most High got to try you with fire. That fire is the Ruach HaKodesh, to really find out, are you elected, families? To really find out, are you chosen, families? He give you all your answers, families. Every question that you have, if there's a question mark, best believe your daddy gave you an answer to it. Check this out. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be not faithful unto death, and I will give thee a what? A crown of life. Now, not only did we just read a crown of a crown of righteousness in the book of James, now we read the crown of life, the exact same crown of life that we is going to receive, families, in Revelation. And who is speaking here? Christ is speaking here. Check this out. Verse 13. I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan, Hasatan's seat is, and they holdest fast my name, and has not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, and Satan dwelleth. But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that had hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Yasharallah, to eat things sacrificing to idols, and to commit fornication. So hast thou also them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I have hate. The Most High is telling you he hate these certain things, families. He's telling you that I hate these things, and you still went and indulged in them. You did not know what you were speaking at that time, but he's going to tell you what you need to do. Repent, or else I will come unto thee quickly, and will fight against them with the sword of my mouth. What is the sword of his mouth, families? It's gonna be that two-edged sword, families, with the spirit being in the spirit and in truth, families. That's what that sword is. It's gonna be the seed of the Most High, the word of God. Verse 17. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit, that Spirit family, said unto the churches. To him that overcome, I will give to eat the hidden manna. What is this hidden manna? We're going to find that answer in Hebrews chapter 9. And will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. Now, families, we just read this precept. We just read this, families. Now, that was in the book of Exodus. Now, families, let's go get our next precept. They're going to be in Hebrews chapter 9, verse 4. What is this what is this manna? This bread from heaven, families? What is it? He's going to tell us exactly what it is, families. Check this out. We need to read verse 1 through 4. Your dagger in this is verse 4. Then truly, the first covenant had also ordinances of divine. He said the divine services was of the first covenant, families, and a worldly sanctuary, families. That means the whole world was able to get hold of this. It wasn't in those secret chambers. Any person could receive it. But check this out. For there was a tabernacle made, the first, wherein was the candlestick. That candlestick, families, is them two candlesticks, is the house of Ephraim, which would be the house of Joseph, and also the house of Judah, families, Yehuda. Check this out. For there was a tabernacle made, the first, wherein was the candlestick, and the table, and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary. And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant, overlaid round about with gold, wherein with the gold pot had what, families? That had manna, that exact same breath of that bread of heaven, families, that came down. That bread of heaven was the laws, families. Was the laws. And check out this. And Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant. Families, it was never supposed to make you to forget. You was never supposed to forget. It's just that our forefathers, our ancient forefathers, did not know what they truly received when they went into the wilderness for 40 years. The Most High was trying to bred them to holiness. He said the holies of, he called it, families, he called it, and after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all, families. That's the Ark of the Covenant, the man that was holding the laws. Check this out. Psalm 78. Psalms, the book of Psalms, chapter 78, families. Then we're finna go to our lesson, families. All this is going to tie it in. Then tomorrow, families, we're going to go into another video about how you're supposed to prepare yourself to go into the wilderness. But families, how you supposed to go into the wilderness if you don't even know what type of manna you're going to be eating when you get in the wilderness? It don't make sense. Why? It don't make sense because people are out of order. The Most High says, let me order your steps. He will order your steps, families, and he will put you in the right position that you're supposed to be. But families, if you don't know what order you in, then you out of order. Me being your brother, I gotta tell you, you out of order. My sister, if I'm out of order, you supposed to be a loving sister to me and tell me, hey Mo, you out of order. We got brothers and sisters out of here that's out of order. And the way that we can teach them the way to go is to tell them with love and let them know that you out of order. And listen to your Most High and what your Most High trying to tell you to do. Psalms chapter 78. Families, this whole chapter right here is deep, but our key phrases will be 23 through 25. 23 through 25, and the precept to this will take you back to the book of Numbers and why the children of Yasharal kept on complaining. And when they kept on complaining, guess what the Most High did to them? He killed them, man. He only saved those that were strong. The Most High killed them. He only saved those that were strong. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. What are these dark sayings of old, families? Which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generations to come the praises of the Most High, and his strength, and his wonderful works that have he done. For he established a testimony in Jacob, and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children. Check this out, families. That the generations to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set up their hope in the Most High, and not forget the works of the Most High, and keep his what, families? His commandments. Check this out. And might not be as they fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not in their hearts aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. Why wasn't their spirit steadfast, families? He's going to tell you about who every last one of these, every last one of our forefathers went left field. And families, we doing it to this day. We are the seed of our fathers for real. We doing it to this day, families, because we going left field. He telling you that your future generations, your seed, will understand the reason why they going through the things that they going through. It's no confusion here. It's because we was wicked as heck, man. We was wicked. Check this out. And verse 9, the children of Ephraim, that's the northern tribe, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of the Most High, and refused to walk in his ways, and forgot his works and his wonders that he had showed them. When did he show you this, families? Check this out. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt. That's what he showed you at. In the field of Zoan. He told you what field you was in, families, when he showed you his great power. How he came and fought for you. The only reason why you here because your forefather ended up surviving that battle. If they died, you wouldn't be here. Come on now. Check this out. He divided the sea and caused them to pass. Who he caused to pass through that sea, families? Man, Yasharala. And caused them to pass through. And he made the waters to stand as an heap. In the daytime also he led them. Who led us? The Most High led us. Then with a cloud, and all night with the light of fire. It was of his glory, families. His presence, families, was that light for us, families, in the dark. Check this out. He clave the rock in the wilderness and gave them drink out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rocks and caused waters to run down like rivers. Families, these are the exact same events and the exact same things the Most High is going to do for us when we go into the wilderness. Families, where there's dry places at, families, he's going to put streams of rivers there, families, so we could drink that fresh spring water. Families, where there was rocky places, he's going to make it plain for us so we can walk through it, families. He is preparing you to go into a wilderness, not to worry about the destruction of the nations. No, he's not. He just wants you to be concerned about it. You know what I'm saying? He wants you to be concerned about it, but don't worry about it. Don't let that trouble you. Check this out, families. He brought streams also out of the rocks and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And families, the Most High is going to make sure that how our forefathers provoked him when he sent them to the wilderness in a safe haven. He could have left them out, families, and let them be destroyed with the rest of the heathens. But he didn't do that. He kept a small remnant of a mixed multitude, families, and they all was called Israel. They all was called Israel, families. It's all of us. Every single last one of us is called Israel, families. You just gotta confess and admit to what your forefathers did, families, and then accept your punishment. Because families, we was born into this. But families, we don't keep nothing. That's our problems. We don't try to remember because you got people out here that want you to forget. Check this out. They tempted the Most High. That's why he's putting you through the troubles that you're going through. He sat there and said that he would never tempt you. Satan tempt you, but we tempt the Most High every time, families, because we keep doubt in our minds. We keep worrying about things that don't have no business to be worried about. You don't have to wait. You need to prepare yourself for battle. This is what you need to do. That way you can make it to the safe haven. And when you see the destructions of all the nations, families, you got to give glory and power and grace to the Most High that he kept you. He preserved you. He preserved you because he chose you, man. Check this out. They tempted the Most High in their heart and asking meat for their lust. Asking meat, family. You wasn't even asking for the spiritual meat. You was looking for food. You was actually looking, you was really just feeding off your flesh, families, and then you gonna tempt your Most High. Yea, he says, yes, they spake against the Most High. They said, can the Most High furnish a table in the wilderness? They mocked our creator, man. They mocked him, and we mocking him now because we not preparing ourselves. We worried about what this nation is going to do and what that nation going to do. But when you go to Matthew 24, the first book of the gospel of St. Matthew, our big brother, is telling us that we ain't supposed to worry about this. Because he sat there and says that your Savior is going to come and tell you don't worry about it. He's going to fight that battle for you. Behold, he smote a rock that the waters gushed out and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? With a question mark, mocking the creator again. Can he provide flesh for his people? Talking about meat, trying to kill something that's in the wilderness. Therefore, the Most High heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they delivered not the Most High and trusted not in his salvation. And families, when you have that lack like that, when you sit over here wondering why this is going on and why this is going on, when the Most High is trying to sit here and tell you that you need to be worried about why you not doing this, when this start going on, then families, you got a serious problem. You really, really do. You worried about something that is totally irrelevant to your salvation. Totally irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. Check this out. Though he commanded the clouds from above, the Most High commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven. And he rained down manna upon them to eat. The exact same manna that we read in Psalm 78. Check this out. The exact same manna that we read in Exodus chapter 16. Check this out. The exact same manna that we read in Hebrews chapter 9. And he rained down manna upon them to eat, and given them of the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. He caused the east wind to blow in heaven, and by his power he brought the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered flowers like the sand of the sea. And he left it in the midst of their camp, round about their habitation. So did they eat and were filled, for he gave them their own desires. He's going to give you anything that you ask for, families. Families, if you're not going to truly work on your salvation and you want to lead yourself into worldly things, one about if Russia going to come and bomb us and stuff like that, He gonna give you that type of mind too. There's a reprobate mind, families. And the Most High will lead you into a reprobate mind because you led yourself there. You led yourself there. You're not worried about the spiritual things. He's trying to send you into a spiritual wilderness. And we're gonna learn about that. Salaki family. Check this out. Where is it at? We need to go to the book of John. Then we need to go to the book of John. We have to go here. Because all this adds up, families. Then we're gonna hear from Christ's mouth, his own mouth, families. Then we're gonna hear from Christ himself, our big brother. You're gonna go to John 6, and you're gonna read verse 31 through 58. 31 through 58. John 6, 31 through 58. Now, families, we do know that Hamashiach is the true high priest. Now, families, he told us this way before he died. He told us this way before he died. Let's go. We're going to read verse 26. And Yeshua answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me, not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat the loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perish, but for the meat which endureth unto everlasting life. What meat, families? Which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath the Most High the Father sealed. This is a seal that he's talking about right here. What kind of seal? Let's go. Then said they unto him, What shall we do that we might work with the work of the Most High? With a question mark, families. They got that faith to put that work in. Because faith without works is what? Dead. Check this out. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, This is the work of the Most High, that you believe on him, on whom he have sent. Let me read verse 29 again. Let me get that back corrected. And Yeshua said, and Yeshua answered and said unto them, This is the work of the Most High, that ye believe on him whom he has sent. They said unto them, therefore unto him, What sign showest thou then, that we may see and believe thee? What doest thou work? Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. He gave them the bread, family. What was that bread? Families, he's going to tell you exactly what that bread was. Watch. He's going to tell you. Then Yeshua said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not the bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. What was that true bread, families? It wasn't something physical, families. It was something spiritual. For the bread of the Most High is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. And Yeshua said unto them, I am the bread of life. That he that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. But I say unto you, that ye shall also see me, and believe it not. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out. For I will come down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. What was that will, families? It was to give us that word, man. And this is the Father's will, which hath sent me, that that of all which he hath given me, I shall lose nothing, but shall raise it up again at the last day. Families, that's the exact same power that we want to have, families. Family, we want to keep this power that Yeshua left for us, families. That way that we can continue to keep our faith and be strong, family, so we could be raised up in the last days. And this and this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up on the last day. The Jews then murmured at him, because he said, I am the bread which came down from heaven. They didn't understand it then, families. Our forefathers didn't even understand it then. And families, the Sadducees and the Pharisees didn't understand it now. You know what I'm saying? And families, some of us don't even understand it to this day. That don't make sense, families. When he's telling you that that manna, that hidden manna, was the word of the Most High. The seed of the Most High, families, was the word. And they said, is not this Yeshua, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he saith, I came down from heaven? And Yeshua therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not among yourselves. No man can come unto me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up on the last day. It is written in the prophets that they shall be all taught of the Most High. Every man thereof that have heard and have learned of the Father cometh up to me. Family, that's all we were trying to tell people the last time that we went live, families, that you're not going to go to heaven, families. You're not going. Matthew, the prophet, St. Matthew was trying to tell you that in Matthew chapter 6, verse 10. He was trying to tell you that the kingdom of heaven is coming to this earth, families. And it's going to bring a righteous rulership. A righteous rulership. And families, if you ain't ready for this type of hidden manna that he's going to bring, families, he's going to leave you out, man. He's going to, yeah, it hurts. I know. But he's telling you, those that believe, if you believe, you must have instructions. You must have instructions if you're a believer. What are you instructed to do? That's the question, man, that you must ask people sometimes. Find out, are they being led by instructions? You can tell because they fruit's going to bear it itself, families. They fruits. Watch this. Not that any man have seen the Father, save he which is of the Most High. He have seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me have everlasting life. I am the bread of life. I was that word that I can't that went to your forefathers, man, when they got their hidden manna. I was that manna. They didn't even receive that then. They was worried about their flesh. They was starving. They was starving, and the Most High killed some of them too. He gonna tell you what he was, families. Check this out, verse 48 again. I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. He's going to tell you, man, that's how some of us are going to be now. That exact same manna that we trying to eat, families, but it ain't spiritual manna. We thinking it's physical manna. And we ain't preparing ourselves for the wilderness. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof and not die. What is that bread, families? That bread is the word of the Most High. His word gives you salvation. I am the living bread which cameth down from heaven. All praises Yeshua. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of this world. He's telling you, families, that he uses his own flesh as the bread for us, families. And all we got to do is receive it, families. Take heed to his word. Hearken to the voice of the Most High, families. And the only way you can hearken to his voice is to obey his law, statutes, and commandments. Obey his voice is what it is, families. But a lot of people don't have no fear for the Most High. How you ain't got no fear? Because you don't even know what you don't even know what he hate. Because everybody think the Most High tell you that he is love, but he is hate, man. He hate things too. He hate things too, families. Check this out. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. The Jews therefore strove amongst themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? Then Yeshua said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, except you eat of this, except if you eat of the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood have eternal life, and I will raise him up in the last day. We have faith in this. For the flesh is the meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I am him. That flesh, families, is the word. His blood, families, is you taking heed to that, families. You taking heed to that. You applying that into your life, families. As the living Father hath sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even shall he live by me. That's what he's trying to tell you, families. Check this out. This is the bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna and are dead. He that eateth this bread live forever. He's telling you what our ancestors did. Hamashiach told you exactly when he came down, he was that manna that came down from heaven. When the Most High opened up the doors from heaven, families, then he came down to feed us, families, for 40 years. And we complained. We complained, worried about what this nation gonna do, and worried about what that nation gonna do, worried about the wrong things. And he gave them a safe haven, families. And that was those that went into the wilderness and died when they was in the wilderness. How do you know that? You go to the book of Numbers, chapter 11. Go to the book of Numbers, chapter 11. Book of Numbers, chapter 11. And we complain, families, and we complaining now. And when the people complain, it displeased the Most High. Who did it displease? Did it displease the person, the people that's complaining? No, it displeased your Creator because He did not give you the spirit of fear. He didn't give you the spirit of fear. What are we doing out here? You got a lot of people, man. They got the spirit of fear in them families, but they ain't got the fear of the Most High. That's what it is. Check this out. They fearing other things, families, other than having the fear of the Most High. They fearing about what this nation gonna do and what that nation gonna do, other than fearing your Creator. And when the people complained, it displeased the Most High, and the Most High heard it, and His anger was it made Him mad, families. And the fire of the Most High burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the othermost part of the camp. And the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed to the Most High, the fire was quenched. Who saved them at that point in time? Moses was end up being a salvation man to the people, families, because he went on his behalf, families, to tell the Most High to have mercy for the children of Yasharala. No instructions, man. And he called the name of that place Taberah, because the fire of the Most High burnt among them. Now, families, this key word in Numbers chapter 11, verse 3, Taberah. He gave you a location. As well, he told you the name of this location. But people don't look at these names. If you can find this name in America, then families, you're doing something. But I can tell you where you can find that name at. It's over there in Jerusalem, families. Check this out. Verse 5. We remember the fish, which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons, and the leeks and the onions, and the garlic. But now our souls is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. They ain't even wanted to, they worried about the physical things, family, but they wasn't even trying to receive the word. They wasn't trying to understand the law, statutes, and commandments that Moses had gave to them. Where the Most High written the laws for us, families, for us to remember in our inward parts, families, with his finger. With his finger. And then Moses brought it down and saw us worshiping cows, families. And what did Moses do? Moses got pissed off and he broke the tablets. And then he went to the Most High, told the Most High to have mercy on the children of Yasharala again. And what did the Most High do? The Most High wrote it again for us, families. That's how much he loved you. He even wrote them again for you, families. Families, if he wanted them to be done away with, why would he write them twice? Why? But people don't look at things like that. Check this out. Check this out. Verse 32. And the people stood up all day and all that night and all the next day, and they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, and the wrath of the Most High was kindled against the people, and the Most High smote the people with a very great plague. And he called the name of that place, families, I cannot say that place, but I did look it up. And he gave us the name of this place. Check out why he named this place that. Kibra, I ain't even gonna try to Kibrahatava. I can't say it, families. But this is why he named this place that. Because they was buried the people that lusted. The Most High families, when he give you a task to do and you don't take heed to that task, families, when he send a nation of people to a location and that certain location is given a name, families, he gave you a reason why that place is named that. So families, the reason why America is called Babylon, families, is for a reason. And families, he told you why it's called that. Time to go to our lesson, families.
Your voice is always clear for me, yeah. Whoa. Hey, love of my life, love of my life. I think I'm lost in your eyes. I know you'll always be mine. Cause I'm the reason you died. Hey, I know you'll always beside me. I feel your spirit inside me. And I know that I'm living by your grace. Love me with a love that's overflowing, overwhelming, got me feeling like I'm floating. And when you hold me tightly in your warm embrace, God, I remember your love will never end. When one plus one's no longer two, I know you'll still be you. You're the constant when everything else is changing. See it in the things you do, and I know your heart is true. You're good for me like no one else could be. I know you're always here. Loving me up, loving me up. Your voice is always clear. Leading me on, leading me on. And I know you're always here. Loving me up, loving me up. And your voice is always clear. And I know you're leading me on, leading me on. You're the star that leads me from the north. When I need to find my way, you lead me forward. You're the light that makes the darkness hide. You're the beacon shining from inside. You're the artist, I'm the muse, and there's a picture I don't get, but even though I may not understand it, it's in the works and I will still trust you. This one's no longer true, I know you'll still be you. You're the constant when everything else is changing. See it in the things you do, and I know your heart is true. You're good for me like no one else could be. Always here, loving me up, loving me up. And your voice is always clear. Oh, you're leading me on, leading me on. And I know you're always here. I know you're always loving me up, loving me up. Your voice is always clear. Leading me on, leading me on. And I know you, and your voices, and I know you, and your voices, yeah.
All praises, families. Now, families, man, the true Ra Hakadash is only given to those, man, who obey, families. And a lot of people don't. They take the Ruach and they really abuse it, families. And families, let's go to Acts chapter 5 verse 32 to get that precept, because you can tell based upon certain people fruits and how they move, families. The Most High is trying to tell us, man, that you must watch out for these type of people in this hour, families. That way, that when He call you to go into the wilderness, families, you won't be turned to the left, or you won't get turned to the right. But families, your narrow road will be made straight again. It will be made straight again, my brothers and sisters. Acts chapter 5, verse 32. Verse 30 through 32. And the Elohim of our fathers raised up Yeshua, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him have the Most High exalted with his right hand, to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Yasharallah and forgiveness of sins. Verse 32 is that dagger. And we are his witnesses. Who are that witnesses, families? The true believers, the ones that know about the true gospel, families, of these things. And so is also the Holy Ghost, whom the Most High hath given to them that obey him. Family, you must obey him, families, in order for you to sit here and say you had to set apart Ruach. You must obey him. And the only way for you to obey him, families, is to walk in the ways of Yeshua HaMashiach and do the will of the Father. How are you able to do the will of your Father, families? How are you able to do that will? Families, you must be able to prepare yourself in this hour to go into the wilderness. You must have instructions. You must have orders. It's not worrying about if Beijing or North Korea is going to come and bomb America. No, that's not what he wants you to worry about. You will not find that nowhere in scriptures. He's telling you which countries and which nations are finna go to get desolate, though. He do tell you that. For the abominations of their sins, families. This is a nation thing, not no individual. No, that's why he told you to work on your personal salvation. But families, as us as a nation, family, man, we must do a prayer call, man. We must pray without ceasing. Let's go to book of John, chapter 7, 37 through 39 before we go to our lesson. You must be when he sat there and said you must be reborn again, being reborn again is being retaught everything. You must forget everything that you thought that you knew. You have to be retrained again. You have to be retaught again. You have to find new instructions again. You have to know everything all over again. Because everything that you thought you knew, you didn't know nothing. And until you can accept that, you will embrace that. And then you will start embracing the real truth. John chapter 7, 37 and 39. He will never forsaken you, families. All he wants you to do is follow his instructions. If you follow these instructions, families, he will not tear you nowhere else. Everybody else speak fables. The Most High speak truth. His word is pure. John 7, and we need to read 37 and 39. Let's read 36 through 39. What manner of saying is this, that he said, ye shall seek me, and shall not find me, and where I am, nether ye cannot come. In the last day, the great day of the feast, Yeshua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. The exact same drink, family, is his blood. In the verse 30, Salaki family, verse 38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture have said. How you going to end up believing on him, family? You must search the scriptures. You must search the scriptures. He's telling you that because the scriptures is what? The word of the Most High. Check this out. He that believeth on me, as the scriptures has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. But this spake he of the Spirit, which they that believe on him should receive. For the Holy Ghost have not yet given, because Yeshua was not yet glorified. He has not yet been lifted up, families. Okay, families. Now, in order for you to even understand that parable, families, you must go to Luke chapter 8. You have to go to Luke chapter 8 to even understand this parable right here. And we're going to go there. It will be Luke chapter 8, 11 through 30. But we're not going to read all that, families, because we got to go to our lesson. So we need to go to Luke chapter 8 to even understand that parable right there. And families, you remember when I said and I told you what was our four main focus of the gospel? Who wrote the New Testament? Paul wrote the New Testament. But what is the gospel? The gospel is Mark, Luke, John, and Matthew. And you need to go to the book of James because James was the oldest brother of Christ. Don't let nobody sit here and tell you nothing different, families. Nothing different. The Hasatan is a lie because the gospel is from them four apostles, man. Check this out. Luke chapter 8, verse 11 through 30. Check this out. Verse 9. No, we need to read verse 7. Verse 8. And others fell on the good ground and sprang up and bare fruit of 100-fold. And when he had said these things, he cried, He that hath an ear, let him hear. And his disciples asked him, saying, What might this parable be? And he said, Unto you is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of the Most High. But unto others, in parables, they saying that they might not see, and hearing, they might not understand. Once you hear something, families, you're not going to understand it. Sometimes people could see things and still not going to be able to see it, families. Still not going to be able to receive it, families, because it wasn't meant for you. So it's not meant for everybody. When the Most High sit there and says his chosen people, the chosen elect, he talking about all those that believe in this word. And how you going to believe in the word? Because you got to believe in the seed of the word. But if you don't understand who's that true seed, that incorruptible seed and that corruptible seed, I'm trying to tell you, families, that because you out of order, you don't have no instructions. You going hither, you going to and fro. Who else go to and fro? Satan go to and fro. Check this out, families. Now this is now the parable is this. The seed is the word of the Most High. Families, that is your root. The seed is the word of the Most High. You must search these scriptures, families. You must. Those by the wayside are they that hear, then cometh the devil, and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should be believed and be saved. There be people that be quick to sit here and tell you fables. There be people that be quick to deter you left and right, families, from the truth. And sit here and tell you this and sit here and tell you that. Bring you illusions, bring you delusions, bring you false information, families. And families, knowledge is power. But families, when you start realizing that knowledge is power, my question is, what type of knowledge are you intaking? Families, if you ain't taking the seed of the word of the word of God, families, then families, you don't have no knowledge. You have worldly knowledge. Your knowledge is vain. Check this out. They on a rock are they, which when they hear, receive the word. Who is on that rock, families? That rock is our cornerstone, which is Yeshua HaMashiach, families. And who are them people that's on this rock? That's us. That's us. When they hear, receive the word with joy. And these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation follow away. Families, you got to let your root go deep. When the Most High plant that seed in you, families, that Ruach HaKodesh, you let it grow deep. Don't let nobody teach you fables, man. Them lies, families, if they can't back it up with the word. That's from what my daddy is telling me. That's what I'm reading through these scriptures. Thus said the Most High. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, families. Check this out. And that which fell among thorns are they, which, when they have heard, go forth and are choked with cares of riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection, but that on a good ground are they, which is in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep it, and bring forth fruit with patience. No man, when he hath lighted a candle, covered it with a vessel, or put it under a bed, but settle it on a candlestick, that they which enter in may see the light. That candlestick, families, is that exact same candlestick in Revelation. That exact same candlestick in Hebrews, families. In Hebrews. This is the exact same candlestick that has nothing yet changed. And this is a whole nother witness. Have two or three more witnesses, families, to bring out your truth. Because when you do it by yourself, you might be in error somewhere. Ain't nothing is a private interpretation, man, to the Most High. Ain't nothing supposed to be in secret, families. When you got people trying to make up private sessions for the word of the Most High, that's blasphemy, man, to the Ruach HaKodesh. There's no such thing as private sessions, man, for his word. There's no such thing, families. You would not find that nowhere in scriptures where you have to hide the word. There's only one prophet that the Most High that I know that the Most High said that he would hide the word from. And he told Daniel to hide. He told Daniel to seal up the book until the latter days when knowledge increases. Come on, families. Hey, blessings, beautiful Queen Jacqueline. Yeah, I'm trying to hurry up and do this session right quick, sis. Hey, did you go over there to honor humility, Queen? You know they live right now. Let's go right there, right quick, sis, because you already know that Brother Mally, I think he's teaching a lesson tonight. Yeah, sis, they still live.
Angel sent from the Most High, telling Daniel, I'd have been here with your answer, but I was at war with the principality or the prince of Persia for 21 days. I was held up for 21 days. Persia is a nation, right? Persia has a principality or an angel over it. Prince of Persia was a movie came out a while back. It's not talking about a physical man. A physical man is not holding back no prayers from no angel. This is the angel telling Daniel, your prayer was heard the first day you offered it up. But it took me 3 weeks to get here because I was withstood 21 days by the Prince of Persia. Daniel was in bondage.
Man, all praises to the Most High. And I was just sitting there talking about the prophet Daniel, families. Okay, family, now it's time for us to go to our lesson. It's time for us to go to our lesson, families. And oh yeah, beautiful Queen Jacqueline, we must catch that live. I think he might do it until 11. So he probably already been going on for about a good. How long he been going so far? No, he been going for about 2 hours, sis. We probably got another maybe hour or two with him. So let's go to our lesson right quick.
Man, we love.
Okay, families. Now, Moray Josh is from to show us some wonderful families, some wonderful revelation in this video right here, families. Families, all my brothers and sisters, I want to say that I love you. I hope that you love this message right here and take heed to this message. Take heed to this because we're going to hear from one of our oldest elders that's going to show us how you're supposed to prepare yourself for this wilderness. But families, in order for us to go to this wilderness, there's going to be a separation that the Most High is going to make. He's finna divide people, families. And it ain't gonna be it ain't gonna be the numbers that you think it's gonna be. I'm sorry to tell you that. Those that you think that's gonna be part of that group is not gonna be in there, families. They have not received that message. And then you thought that they was righteous to receive that message. Families, the Most High would not know. I'm sorry to tell you that, man. I'm sorry. Because families, when he sat there and said that he come like a thief in the night, families, it's not gonna be like a thief in the night to us, families. Because he already going to lead us somewhere, families, when he do come to bring damnation to the rest of the nations, man. How are you preparing yourself? If you're not preparing yourself and you worried about a lot of other stuff, families, you need to watch out. Families, I love you a lot. But families, trust me, there's going to be a division. And if you're not worried about how you're going to be divided, you have a problem. The Most High sat there and says in Deuteronomy chapter 32, and 39, that you is a chosen generation, families. Amos chapter 4, families. Ye is a chosen generation. 1 Peter First Peter 2 and 4 through 10, families. He's telling you, family, you is a chosen generation. Who is that chosen generation? Yasharala, man.
Mishpaka, so I just want to give an update on that. And again, thanks for everything everybody did. We were down there. It was a blessing. So, partially what we're going to talk about today is something that came out there when we was down there. So we're going to look at that. Let's get into it. The manna will cease. Right? And so yourself basically pretty much already explained it. He gave you the synopsis about what's happening with the manna. But we're going to look into it and see what that means in this next time that's coming up real short. This is an excerpt from a verse. Shouldest thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahuwah? Therefore wrath is upon thee from before Yahuwah. Chronicles 19:2. So the first thing you got to ask yourself is, if we talking about the manna, why would we start with this? Because this is the time that we in. The time that we in is a time of hard division. It's a time of fiery separation. This week I came here and I was praying about that. I was praying about people that I know or that I see heading in the direction. People that I see that's heading for the separation, or that's already being separated. And as soon as I came in here, the first thing that Most High gave me, I came here to pray about it. And before I could even pray about it, he took me directly to this. So let's look at it. Go to Exodus 16. Yourself, you read that for me?
Verse 1?
19 through 36.
Oh. Alright, verse 19. And Moshe said to them, let no man leave any of it until the morning. But they did not listen to Moshe.
Alright, so first thing we're seeing is that they didn't discern Moshe's judgment. So is that confirmed? Everybody see they right off the bat, they didn't discern him. They didn't listen to they didn't hearken to him. They didn't receive his judgment. Right? Keep going.
But they did not listen to Moshe, and some left part of it until the morning, and it bred worms and became foul.
So the word, because they wouldn't receive with instruction, became foul bread to them. Everybody got me?
Right? They didn't trust it. Yeah.
Right. Say it again.
They didn't trust his instruction.
Right. So.
Okay, pause, families. All right, now what Brother Moray, man, is going over to what we was been talking about, and that what actually gave me some of the precepts that I have, families, dealing with the hidden manna. Families, you will also find that in Deuteronomy chapter 8, 3 through 16. Also Nehemiah chapter 9, 15 through 20, families. All these precepts, families, you need to write this down because it's dealing with your salvation, family. It really, really is. It really, 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 really is, family. Take heed to the message. I truly hope that y'all love this message. I ain't got long. I don't have long. I got until tomorrow, and Most High's willing, maybe Sunday, families, I can come amongst y'all one more time. And families, if I'm still here, all praises to the Most High. But if I'm not, then families, you already know what it is. I just hope that you continue to get this truth. And watch out for watered down stuff, families. Please, you have to watch out for watered down truth. Let's go.
When we're looking at this time period, that's what we're seeing. The division that's happening right now is because, I'm going to get into this in a second, the Most High has established judges. Ma's one of the first people I know that had that revelation and talking about in this time and judges, and then I talked to more about it. Some other people having the same kind of revelations. But in this time period, the Most High is establishing the judges. So in this time, right before the manna ceases, the word is Yehoshaphat. Yahuwah's judgment. So the context is, go ahead. You got something to say? Go ahead, bring it.
No.
Go ahead, bring it.
No. You just, what you're saying goes really well with this word you told me to look up. That's all.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Don't pay attention to my face.
No, you good, sis. You good. I thought you had something. I know you got something on deck. So during this time period, that's what it is. Because in the time that the manna would cease, Yahuwah's judgment is going forth.
Mm-hmm. That's Shabbat.
Say it again.
That's the Shabbat.
That's
Shabbat
the
Shalom.
Yeah. So we're looking at this now like in the mindset or in hindsight of Moshe, because Moshe gave them the direction about how to receive the manna. So right now he sent judges out, directing them how to discern the manna, because we don't know what it is. Man, what is this? Right? We can't properly discern it. So during that time period, they weren't able to discern it. So they didn't gather it properly during the time of gathering. There's what? Seed time and harvest, right?
Yeah.
So there's a time for gathering. There's a time for planting. You have to discern the seed. Keep going.
Just to be clear, we didn't talk about any of this.
No.
At all. All I knew was what the title was. So, hallelujah. So, all right. So, some left part of it until the morning, and it bred worms and became foul. And Moshe was angry with them. And they gathered it morning by morning, every man as much as he should eat. But when the sun grew hot, it would melt. Now it came about on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one. When all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moshe, then he said to them, this is what Yahuwah meant. Tomorrow is Shabbat observance.
So yeah.
Tomorrow is Shabbat observance.
Okay, go ahead.
A holy Shabbat to Yahuwah. Bake what you will bake, boil what you will boil, and all that is left over put aside to be kept until the morning.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look at that. So this is where, and I heard people say that it was the Shabbat, because people believe that the Shabbat is about doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what people believe. Like, man, I stay home and rest because,
That's what the Shabbat's for.
Yeah.
right? I ain't going nowhere because it's the Shabbat. I ain't doing this because of Shabbat. I ain't doing that because it's the Shabbat. They don't realize is that the Shabbat is the order of ministry. So the Shabbat is not about doing anything. The Shabbat is about the order of ministry. A priest works from sun up to sundown on Shabbat. This is the reason why Yahusha said what? He said, do you know that the priest what? Work every Shabbat. When they came and they questioned him about it. So the priests are executing rites and their order on the Shabbat. So for 6 days, these people work. So there's a time that you got to go out and do work. It's interesting that he says what? He says, on tomorrow is the rest of the Holy Shabbat day. Bake that which you bake today. See that which you see today. In other words, do all the work that you planning on doing. Because today you're not going to do what? Go out.
Yeah.
There's a time when the word goes out.
Yeah.
And there's another time when the word is put in service. So right now we're in that time period when the manna will cease. Right? The word is going to go out, but it's not going to be during that time. It's going to be given and gathered by the people who gather.
Right.
Say it one time. It's going to be given and gathered by the people that gather. If the manna stop, how will you go get it?
Y'all go to the person who got it.
How could?
They double portion.
Say again.
You gotta go to the person who got their double portion.
So even according to the scripture, what it says that even that what you think you have will be what?
Taken from you.
How can they preach unless they be sent? And how can they hear unless it be from a what? Preacher. From a more. So there's coming a time when right now, like you go on YouTube, you go on Facebook, all this stuff is accessible. Because the word done went out. The manna is abundant. Right? But there's coming a time when that's gonna stop. We said this how many months ago? Months ago. Right? So now we at that time where that manna is gonna cease, and those that gather are gonna have a double portion. During that time period, in order for you to get the manna, you got to go to the one who has it. Keep reading out.
Alright, I think I stopped on 24. So they put it aside until the morning, as Moshe had ordered. And it did not become foul, nor was there any worm in it. And Moshe said, "Eat it today, for today is Shabbat to Yahuwah. Today you will find it not in the field."
So you're not going out to the field no more. Remember, the harvest is in the field. So you can go to the end gathering, right? Because why? You have enough to sustain you during this time. So in order for you to have something, you got to go to those that have the double portion. Those that will be in ministry, right, on Shabbat. You have to come to them and you have to receive. Say it again, Al.
So you're going to have to go to the same ones whose instructions you disregarded.
Right. Because you know why? Because you weren't gathering. You were just eating. So up until this time period, there's a lot of people eating but not gathering. Shayu, you said this earlier. You and Malu, what? The harvest is what?
It's plentiful, but the workers are few.
But the what?
The workers are few. The harvest is plenty, but the workers are few.
So there's a few
pray,
gatherers. There's only. Say it again?
Pray that the workers come. That's what he said.
All right. The reason why you have to pray for the workers because they're the ones who are going to reap the harvest. So we in this time period. I want to get ahead of myself. Go, keep reading now.
All right. 6 days you shall gather it, and on the 7th day, the Shabbat, there will be none.
There will be what?
None.
So at that time period, it's not going to be no more. Right? You're going to gather it. You're going to have a double portion. So I'm telling y'all, we're heading to the time of double portion. But heading to the time of the double portion, you got to heed judgment. Because we read on down, we find out that some of them died with the flesh even being in their mouth. In the midst of trying to eat them out. Go ahead.
And it came about on the 7th day that some of the people went out to gather, but they found none.
Go ahead, Al.
Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, "How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my instructions? See, Yahuwah has given you the Shabbat. Therefore he gives you bread for 2 days on the 6th day. Remain every man in his place."
In his what?
In his place.
So, all right, so remember now, it says every man in his place. But what did they do on the Shabbat? Did everybody stay in their house on the Shabbat?
No, they went out gathering.
Right? So there's a gathering on Shabbat. It's called the assembly. Right? So on this Shabbat, and it got a double portion. Now every man is in his place. That don't mean that everybody is at his house. It means everybody's in his place in ministry. In his function. Every man is where? In the storehouse. Every man is what? In the tabernacle. Say again, Mom? In the order. Because they received a double portion. Go ahead.
Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day.
So before I go there, so just you got to understand what rest means. Go ahead, Molly. You about to say something?
Before you go into rest, can you touch on what it means by no man is to go out of his place? Because most people use that as the foundational understanding for no man is out of his house on that day.
Basically what it means is, like, you already hit the answer. Don't go outside of your order. Because your place, remember now, every Shabbat, they would go where? They go to the tabernacle of congregation. They would go to the place of meeting. So this is the reason why he would command them not to do certain things. It wasn't because you weren't supposed to do, but they say not do any work. If you go read one line, it says several work. Yeah. So it don't mean not do any kind of work. It means that don't do any work that will keep you from assembling on that day. For you to be in your order, be in your spot, to be in the place of gathering. Wow. So when you're looking at this, when it says, again, for every man, because in that time, he's received his double portion, and he's where? He's in his place in the order. And then when that happens, here come the rest. Because the rest don't mean rest. Right? Because what? We know that Yahuwah created the earth, right? We know that they give the context of days. On the 7th day, it says he what?
He rested.
That's what it says. Now, but the scripture says he neither slumber nor sleeps.
Right.
So what is he resting from? No, man. On the 7th day, his order was set, and on the 8th day, it started. So the context, if you look in the ancient Near East, when it says rest, that don't mean rest. What it means is everything is in its place. right? When everything is in its place, then say it again. He's reigning. The next step, the 8th day, is the order. It represents the order. So it don't mean rest like he sat down. Did the Most High stop doing works? Did the whole, like, on the 7th day?
That's why it's also equivalent. Well, that's why 7 is also completion.
Say it again.
Because that's why 7 is also completion, because rest is equivalent to it being set.
Right.
This is what it is.
7 is also an oath.
It's complete.
Right? If you made an oath, then you secured it. If you're in rest, you're in security. So that's the context of rest. So it don't mean rest like sleep or rest at like stay at your house. That's one of the biggest misconceptions concerning the scripture, because we know that Most High did not sleep on the 7th day. He never. Go ahead.
It's equivalent with like your job. Like you go to your job and you work from a certain time to a certain time. And when you get off work, you don't just fall asleep on the ground. You still gotta, you're resting from that job, from that work. You're resting from it to go make food for your kids.
That's right.
To go, talk to your wife or talk to your husband.
Right.
To go, study. To go, do whatever that is a part of your fixed order of your life. Your job does not sustain your marriage.
That's right.
Your job doesn't sustain your children, really.
Right.
Your job serves a purpose, but then you have to stop doing that to go serve in your actual order.
Right.
That Yahuwah has established.
Right. And it's not a labor, it's a function.
Exactly.
That's the difference. When you laboring for somebody to sustain yourself versus you being in the function that you was made, right? Or resting, or being in, like, all this, the whole context go back together. So, again, go ahead, Al.
All right. What are we on, 30?
30, yeah.
So people rested on the 7th day, and the house of Yasharel named it Manna, and it was like a coriander seed, white. Coriander? It was like coriander seed, and it was white, and its taste was like wafers with honey. Then Moshe said, "This is what Yahuwah has commanded. Let an omer full of it be kept throughout your generations, that they may see the bread that I fed you in the wilderness."
In the where?
In the wilderness.
In the where?
In the wilderness.
So the context of manna goes back to the wilderness. Is that what sustains you? Say it again.
It's a reminder.
It's a reminder. So it's going back to the context of sustaining you in the time of the wilderness. That's another thing we've been talking about how the wilderness, you're in the wilderness now. Exactly. It's the word that comes down.
It's the word. Okay.
Right.
All right. So hold up. You said, okay. So remember, Shaul said to Timothy, "Do not forget the things that you were taught by your mother and your grandma."
Right.
He's saying that's that manna.
Right.
The manna is a word that comes down.
That's right.
Don't forget this word, because that word is going to sustain you.
Right.
When you remember what saved you in the wilderness.
That's right.
That is the early and the latter rain.
That's right.
Is what the manna is. The word more means rain.
Right.
It's also like a arrow. It's something that comes out and you have to collect it.
Right.
You have to remember it. So it's put in the Ark of the Covenant as a reminder, so we would never forget.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. All right. So anyway, we got the context. We're gonna keep going. All right. Let's look at this. So let's look at Joshua 5. So we got the context about how many days, six days they gathered. 7 day they 6 day they got a double portion. 7 day they didn't do any. They went into their order, right? They went and served in their order, right? After that, there was no manna on that day, right? So now let's look at the time that they stopped having manna or stopped receiving manna. Yahushua 5 verse 12 to 13.
That's crazy.
And the manna ceased on the morrow, after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna what? Anymore. But they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And so they receiving a word from not from the heavens, but a central word, a carnal word.
And this is Pesach.
So yeah?
This is Pesach.
Exactly.
The first Pesach coming out of the wilderness.
Mm-hmm. And it came to pass that when Yahushua was by, everybody say Jericho. Rest of Jericho. You gotta understand why I was near Jericho. We'll see that pop up again. Then he lifted up his eyes and behold, there stood a what? Over against him with what? So everything that Yosef said earlier about when the manna ceased, right? After the ingathering, right? Or not really the ingathering, when the gathering of the word, the set in the order. Remember the seventh day they received it so they can go into the work, right? Because we don't rest on Shabbat, we go into our order on Shabbat. So after they received that, after they received what they needed, the next thing was they went into their order. Then after that, the manna ceased, and then there was a sword, there was judgment, right? So everybody's with me. Let's move a little bit faster now. So when you think about this, all of a sudden Yahushua goes in the way, then he sees a man drawn with a sword, which means that after they received this word, there was a short time to receive this word, for them to gather it, right? And after that, they were set in their order. After that, there was a sword. Now, did Yahushua stop right here? So after he seen the sword, it was over with, that was it, right? They got the double portion, right? So they got the double portion, he saw the man with the sword, it's it, it's over. He did what? He go to take the kingdom. So after the sword, those that escaped the sword in the wilderness found grace. It's funny that, you got the head and then you got the noon, so they went inside of the wall. Let's keep going. Let's look at this. Jeremiah 31 verse 2. Again, thus says Jehovah, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness. So the ones who escaped the sword are also those who received the what? Double portion. I say double portion.
Double portion.
All right, I'm gonna tell you we're gonna move fast. Let's get through this. So let's go to 2 Chronicles 19. So we see that before the double portion or the word has went forth, after that, the sword comes because there's no more manna. That word it's withheld, but it's not withheld from everybody. You dig? Because certain people have a double portion of it. And on the seventh, they go to what? They go into their order. They go and function with the double portion. After that, it's the sword. Then after that, they take the kingdom. I said take the kingdom. So 2 Chronicles start at verse 19. Chapter 19. 2 Chronicles chapter 19. Check this out. Now we're going to start with talking about Yehoshaphat. Because a sword is what? Judgment. So technically it's those that escape Yehoshaphat. Went out? It was coming. Let me get you one of these mics. Gotta unmute it though. Y'all muted? Check one. Alright.
I keep thinking about a man and how
Check one.
you will you collect manna as a child in your parents' house, and then because there's going to be a time where you're not in your parents' house anymore, you're under tutors.
Right.
You're under the law for a time, and then once you mature and come out of that house, the manna ceases. And only if you received the portions that were allotted while you were in your parents' house will you be able to survive outside the house. And if you don't, then there's going to be a sword.
Right.
Then the law's going to come against you. You're going to be getting arrested. You can get shot. You're going to get killed if you don't remember the manna, the Torah of your mother. Right.
Yeah. So, let's look at that. See how long it lasts. So we've seen all this stuff, and of course you're right. You have to receive that word in that time period because you only have a certain amount of years. Most people, 18 or 19, right? If you haven't received it from that time period, most time you already fixed in your order, right? If you haven't been fixed in the proper order, if you haven't received that portion that your mother was given to you or the word that came down, then you go into Yehoshaphat. You go into Yahuwah's judgment. Most of us, we die around that time period in the streets. 18, 19, 20, 21. Around that time period. That's the point we go into rebel. Because the sword is out there. Let's look at this. But see, this is the reason why we're going to why you got to understand Yehoshaphat to understand the manner. It started with Moshe's judgment, his commandment, his mishpat. But let's look at this. So if you look at 2 Chronicles 18, we ain't gonna read 18 because we ain't got time. All right. So what happened was, and this is why we've been teaching and teaching and teaching. I'm trying to get you to discern the time that we're in right now. All right. Been teaching what? Separation is coming. Separation is coming. Separation is coming. Separation is coming. So the first problem that we have when we look at Yehoshaphat, Yahuwah's judgment, is that judgment almost came on Yehoshaphat for not doing what? Not separating. But right now in Israel, the mindset is that you ain't supposed to separate. We all got to come together, and not only that, we're supposed to come together with unrighteousness. We're supposed to come together with sin. It don't matter what it is. We got to come together. We got to be one. There's people that despise this word. They despise Moshe. They didn't listen to Moshe. They can take heed. He said you can only gather at certain times, a certain way. So what happened was the manna they received was what? Full of worms. And when the time came, when the manna ceased, they went out and go looking for it, but there was none. 2 Chronicles 19, verse 1. And Yehoshaphat, king of Yehuda, returned to the house in the peace of Jerusalem. And Yehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, the prophet, went out to meet him and said, King Yehoshaphat, shouldst thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahuwah? So it starts with the whole thing. Man, weren't you just hanging out with Ahab? The prophet told him, said, don't you supposed to separate? Shouldn't it be a het? Shouldn't it be a separation for the seed? For you to find grace? That's the first thing. So Yehoshaphat had to understand this. Because remember now, Yehoshaphat had basically a successful type of ministry. But he didn't fully understand that, one, there had to be a separation. There had to be a demarcation. There had to be someone to make a difference between the holy and the profane. Again, shouldst thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahuwah? So people right now like, oh man, I can't believe y'all did that. I saw so-and-so, they ain't coming to the assembly no more. I believe they cut them off. See, I know that they ain't of the Most High. They ain't of the Most High right there. Because he left the 99 and went and got the one. I'm telling y'all real talk. They can't discern. They don't understand that they gathering manna with worms. Because they're not gathering according to the commandment. Should thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahuwah? Therefore, the wrath of Yahuwah is from the judgment is coming. Nevertheless, there are good things found in thee. In other words, you're doing some good things. In that thou hast taken away the groves out of the land, that's prepared thy heart to seek Yahuwah. And Yehoshaphat dwelt at Jerusalem, and then went out again through the people from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim, and brought them back to Yahuwah, Elohim of their fathers. Excuse me, y'all. And he said, judges. He said what? Judges. He said what? Judges. So Yehoshaphat goes to correct what was wrong. And the first thing he did was establish judges. So right now in the awakening, there's been all different phases of the awakening. First it was information. Then it was come together. Then it was debate. Now it's separation. Why? Because now a sword is coming. The sword is coming, and so judges have to be established. Somebody hold that scripture. Let me pull this up real fast. I know it's something I forgot to put in here. But anyway, I ain't gonna pull it up. I ain't got time. But anyway, the Most High says he's gonna restore the judges as before. But we're gonna look at this. So we think judges, we think Deborah, we think Samson, we think that type of judge, right? Or we think priestly order. Or we think people, we think the American mindset, people sitting around in chairs. with robes on, saying X, Y, and Z. Magistrates, basically. So, but we don't understand what it meant for Yehoshaphat to set up judges. I'm gonna get my sis up here to explain. There's two words you gotta look at.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so judge. Okay, so the first word that he gave me to look up was judges. We didn't discuss this,
Right.
but it's interesting what you just talked about. But it's shaphat, which is word H8199, and in English it is to govern or to pronounce a sentence for or against. In Hebrew, that is shin, pei, tet. Right? And that shin, it means short, press, double, consume. Pay is mouth, speak, blow, word, edge, scatter. And tet is to contain, store, mud, clay. Okay. So, Hebraically, a judge, this is what Yahuwah gave me. A judge is someone who stores a double word or a double boundary.
Say it again.
A judge is someone who stores a double word or double boundary.
So now we in this time. He said he said shafats. That word is not mishpat, it's shafat. So in this time we talking about the double portion. What is double portion? The word, it's the word, it's the manna that came down. The word also, listen, is a rod. This is the reason why we talked about last couple weeks talking about the rod of Jesse. And it says that Jesse has a rod where? In his mouth. It's the word, right? So he's able to pronounce the word because there has to be, again, there's a scattering that's going on. There's a people that have to be judged. There's a sentence that has to go out to be able to cleanse the land. So before you can be set into your order, you have to be judged. We're all judged. The judgment is the refiner's fire. Give me the other word.
Okay. The other word is mishpat, which is H4941, which is verdict, which it comes from the word shafat that we just went over. This word, the only difference is it has a mem in the front, which means liquid, blood, water, sea, chaos, and mighty. And so as I was looking at this word, it could be either a statement or a question, and I'll explain why it's a question in a minute. But the statement is the flowing of the double word or the double boundary that the judge has stored. Okay? So it's like a verdict. It comes forth, right? The question could be, because in Hebrew, the mem is water, right? And mem is like, water is something like, I guess, mysterious, not knowing if you're going to, you're not knowing an uncertainty. And so in Hebrew, that mem could represent a question like who, what, when, where, why, how, right? So it could be, what is the double word or boundary that the judge has stored?
Say again, sis.
What is the double boundary or word that the judge has stored?
So we have to set up. So this is what we've been doing. Remember the double boundary? Remember I told you I had a dream of the brick wall? Right? And the fire. The double boundary. Right? So this is where we're at right now. This is the time of Yehoshaphat. Yehoshaphat went to what? Establish the Shaphat. To set the double boundary. Because there's going to be a double portion for those that are inside the boundary.
Can I add on
Go ahead.
a little bit? Okay, so what I just saw as she was explaining that word, we have the shin, which the shin, it can mean a couple different things. So one of the things that she said was pressing, pressed together. A lot of times we see that shin in words dealing with covenant.
Right.
Yasharel.
Right.
Shara.
Right.
Isha.
Right.
These words are dealing with covenant,
right.
Something being pressed together. So a judge, he is somebody who establishes a covenant,
right?
Pressing together, and then we see the pay, which also means scatter. So presses, binds, and scatters, loose. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in the heavens. Whatever you loose on earth will be loose in heavens. And then the tet, which is it's like a basket or a clay. It's a container. It's something that's stored up. Once it's put in there, you can't take away from it.
Right.
He stores it up. So what he binds and what he looses has been contained.
Right, because whatever he, whatever sins he remit, they're remitted. And whatever sins he retained, they are contained. Go back to the text.
And then, and I'm sorry. And then when you add the mem on it, that mem can also mean blood. So it's like that judgment has been sealed with blood.
Right. And so now you understand how severe we talking about the shafat is versus the mishpat, which is the declaring of it, or is it going forth, right? Or judging it to speak that it go for. So now Yehoshaphat, Yehu is Shaphat. He goes and does exactly that. Like every time I think about Yehoshaphat, I've always thought about this valley. But not even that. His first job before they got to the valley was him to establish judges in Israel. So that for them to do what? For them to like you just said, to retain or to scatter, to be able to give to have the dabar mishpat, or have the word of judgment, to be able to speak and also execute a shafat. Which is also what? A double boundary, or a double a double wall. So let's look at that. Verse 4, Yehoshaphat dwelt at Jerusalem, and he went out throughout the people from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim, and he brought back unto Yahuwah, unto the Elohim their fathers. And he set judges, he set shafats, not mishpat, not people that speak words, people that execute. Say it one time. Not people that speak words, but people to execute, people to move people. To actually put hands, when you look, one of them is more like an action, the other one is more like a verdict. So he said all through the land, people to execute the judgments. I'm going to show you in the scripture that during the time of Yahusha, they wasn't there.
Dawid did the same thing.
Say it again.
Dawid did the same thing. After he saw Yahuwah's judgment, he established an order to maintain the righteousness of that judgment within the Levites. He set up an order that persisted in the temple from the time when he was alive, even to the time of Yahusha.
Right.
It was established, and he set it, and it stayed. And we see that same order with was his great grandson,
right?
Yehoshaphat.
Right.
He was judged, and then he established an order to sustain the judgment that he received.
That's right. That's right. So let's look at this. He said, Shaphats and all through the land in the fenced cities. The reason why it's fenced cities, that's your head right there, right? So people who had the understanding, who had the Dabar Mishpat, they were also people who had the Shaphats. They put hands, they moved people, they set the order, they purged, they purified the people. City to city. And he said to the Shaphats, take heed and do for ye judge not for man, but for Yahuwah, who is in you. And it just says the judgment, but really there's two words. It's the bar mishpat. Wherefore now fear Yahuwah, the fear of Yahuwah be upon you. Take heed and do it. There is no iniquity with Yahuwah Elohim. So he's saying, remember now, their job was to separate. So he says, go through Israel and separate those people. And he says, don't fear man, but fear Yahuwah. Right? Let's keep going. There is no iniquity with Yahuwah, nor respect of persons, nor of what? Taking the gifts. Now let's look at this. Let's see how serious that thing is. I should have put this in the teaching, but I forgot to put it in here. So let's go to Matthew 15. Somebody hold that so I know where to go back to. All right. Let's go to Matthew 15. If somebody got it, go ahead and read it.
Looking at verse 1.
Yeah, verse 1.
Then some of the Pharisees and scribes came to Yahusha from Jerusalem, saying, why do you and your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. And he answered them and said to them, and why do you yourselves transgress the commandments of Elohim for the sake of your tradition? For Elohim said, honor your father and your mother, and he who speaks evil of his father and mother, let him be put to death.
All right, stop right there. Now we're going to see who Yehoshaphat set up to be the Shaphats. We're going to find out that it was Levites. So Mashiach is talking to the Pharisees who claim to be Levites, high priests and whatnot. And he's saying this. I'm getting ahead of myself, but basically what you just said, he says, for the command saying, honor thy father and thy mother, he that cursed thy father and mother, he got to be executed. He's got to die. Keep reading.
But you say, whoever shall say to his father or mother, anything of mine you might have been helped by has been given to Elohim.
All right, stop right there. So in the King James, we're going to say it's a gift. So what was going on in Israel was these people were supposed to be shafats. They're supposed to have been the separating of the people. They're supposed to be the ones who brought judgment or laid hands and moved those people who was doing the wickedness, but they was taking gifts. They didn't want to purge the people. They didn't want to bring the judgment. They didn't want to cleanse the nation. They wanted to make money. So he's giving an example. He's saying, man, the people that they define their mother, they need to die to death. But no, the judges fall back and they receive bribes. They don't want to actually execute what need to be done. And because of that, corruption spread through the nation. Let's go back to your good figs. Let's go back to the darnel in the wheat. Right? Because what? It said the wheat grows up and chokes. I mean, the darnel grows up and chokes what? The wheat. And then the bad fig is what? Corrupt the good. So they both have to be what? Separated. In the pay, right? Right. So we're looking at this. Keep reading next verse.
It says, he is not to honor his father or his mother, and thus you invalidated the word of Elohim for the sake of your tradition. You hypocrites, rightly did as Isaiah promised or prophesied of you, saying, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far away from me.
All right, stop right there. It's crazy because Yahusha is reprimanding them from not killing disobedient children. They don't play in no church, man. Can you imagine the mindset that they try to paint Yahusha as being like this wimpy dude that's all about grace? And he's sitting there chastising them, saying, hey, look, the scripture says that when a child disobeys their mother, he got to die. Where y'all at? How come y'all ain't executing this judgment? Bro, serious, man. Now let's go ahead and finish the Chronicles 19. Verse 6. And he said to the Mishpach, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but Yahuwah who is with you in judgment. Wherefore, now the fear of Yahuwah be upon you, and take heed to do it. There is no iniquity, there's no children cursing their parents, right? With you, nor respect of person, nor taking of gifts. That's what Yahushua was talking about. Verse 6. Moreover, in Jerusalem, there Jehoshaphat said, who? The Levites. That's the reason why Yahushua was talking to the Pharisees and of the priests and of the chief of the fathers of Israel to do what? For the mishpat of Yahuwah, or the shafat, of Yahuwah. And for what? Controversies. When they returned into Jerusalem. For he charged them, saying, thus shall you do in fear of Yahuwah faithfully and with a perfect heart. And what cause soever shall come before your brethren who dwell in their cities, between blood and blood, between law and commandment, between statute and judgment, even shall you warn them, even shall you Moshe warned them about what? When to gather the manna. Even you shall warn them not to trespass against Yahuwah. So the wrath come upon you and upon your brethren. This do ye, and ye shall not trespass. So you get the context. Right? So let's move. Let's finish. See if we can finish this today. So again, you got the mishpat versus the shafat. The mishpat is like the declaration. The shafat is the execution. So Yehoshaphat set up, or he redeemed Israel by setting up these people who was able to separate. Because we're gonna see that they was about to do something else. It was another phase. If I say another phase. There's another phase that the Most High was about to take Israel in, but they can't go without the judges. So right now, the judges or judgment is coming forth. But again, those, only certain people can have the ear to hear it.
Pause. Now, families, man, that's why we was going over them exact certain other precepts, families, that was going to leak up to this information that we have right here. It's only going to be a certain individuals, families, they're going to have an ear to hear, families. Everything is not meant for everybody. Some people, man, gonna walk in, listen to what's going on. Mo don't know what he's talking about. But families, they not understanding that Mo is in an order. I'm trying to go into a righteous order, or orders of Melchizedek, families. Yahusha's order. You know what I'm saying? The law of Christ. But we must understand, families, that you must first lead the first principles of Christ. And that's for you to love your brothers and thy neighbors, families, like you love thyself. Once you lead that first principles, families, now he's trying to set you up in order to be a royal priest. How are you able to be a royal priest? How are you able to judge the angels, families? If you don't even know what, or you don't even know what instructions that you supposed to follow. That's why the Most High he set people, that families. He also setting up people in this hour, families, that you love, to set up a separation between the wheat and the tares. And it is what it is. It is what it is, families. Who gonna be that true wheat, that silver and gold? And who gonna be that tear, that choke on the meat, families? That spiritual meat of the word. Who will be that tear?
So as you were just speaking that, not so much with the tet, but I looked at shin and pay, and what you're saying right now is it's a sharp word to scatter.
Right.
That's
Say
what
it again.
it is. A sharp word to scatter, and that's what judges bring forth. The sharp word.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It'll separate.
It's either you're gonna be on this side or that side, but either way you're gonna be on the side.
Right.
Like when Yahushua said to all who was listening, you have to eat of my flesh and drink of my blood.
Right.
That was a sharp word that scattered. People left after he said that.
That's right. That's right. So, and this is the thing, going back to the double portion. Everybody's not going to receive the double portion. So this word during this time is specifically for that. Yahushua says, he said, I speak to them in parables, that they would see not and not see, hear and don't understand. He specifically said that because there was a certain people who can hear it. There's a certain people that can eat it, a certain people that can drink it. It was a hard word. It was a sharp word. Go ahead.
Just to reiterate and build on what Ak was just saying about the importance of priests or judges executing the judgment which Yahuwah sends forth and bringing a separation and distinguishment. Ezekiel 22:26. Her priests have done violence to my teaching, and they have profaned my set-apart matters. They have not distinguished between the set-apart or the profane, nor have they made the difference between the unclean and the clean. They have hidden their eyes from my Shabbats, and I am profane before their midst. Her leaders in her midst are like wolves tearing to the prey, to shed blood, to destroy lives, and to get greedy gain. So it speaks about the offense Yahuwah takes when one who is of the priesthood or who is set up as a judge does not walk in his function or his ordinance.
That's right.
That's crazy because it's that was in Ezekiel, and this hurricane or winter storm Ezekiel coming through right now.
That's right.
It's time for separation.
That's right. That's right. So again, we're gonna look at this. Like I said, we're gonna speed this up and go through it. 2 Chronicles 19 verse 5 and said that he set Shaphat in the land through all fenced cities of Yehuda, city by city. So in other words, assembly by assembly. Assembly by assembly. One thing that we're going to try to move in our vernacular, we got to start acting within the ministry at Rebirth as, of course we still call ourselves assemblies, but also tribes. We're a tribe, we're a family, right? So the Shaphat, the judgment, the separation had to go from city to city because there had to be a purging. But because before the vessels of ministry can be put into their order, they have to first be purged. So let's look at this. All right. So how do they purge? They purge by judgment. Debar mishpat. So anyway, I'm gonna speed this up. Let's look at this. So it's interesting because that's chapter what? 19. Right now we're in 2019. So you look at what does 19 mean biblically? You know, we talking about the Hebrew numerology. We got the Aleph, which is the 1, and then the Tet, which is 9. So we'll go into the 19, right? So we looking at this, and this is even, I pulled the first thing and I looked at some other stuff. So the first thing, it says, what does 19 mean biblically? The number 19 in numerology represents the beginning or closing of a season. The number 19 is the combining of the 10 and the 9, which usually denotes Elohim's perfect order in regard to judgment, right? And again, we're looking at different times. The time that, Israel was ruled by 19 kings, and after that, the judgment came, right? Nebuchadnezzar burned down the city of Jerusalem on the 19th year of his reign. So there's always what? That time of judgment, or the time of scattering around around the 19th. So, for time, because I want to finish this tonight. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock already. I'm not going to read the whole chapter 20. All right, but this is the thing. Chapter 20 is the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's the valley of the decision, the valley of Shaphat, or judgment. So when you read chapter 19, what you see is that after the judgment came, after he set in order the judges, or the Shaphat, this happened. 2 Chronicles 20 verse 25. And when Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among them in abundance both what? With the dead bodies. So the judgment and also the provision. After what? The Shaphats was set up. And precious jewels. And they stripped them off for themselves, more than they can carry it away. And they carried what? 3 days gathering of the spoil. It was so much. They had a what? Double portion. So let's keep moving. Let's look at this. Joel 3 verse 2. I will gather all the nations, I'll bring them down to where? The valley of Jehoshaphat, right? Yahuwah's Shaphat. And there I'll put them on it. And it goes on and talks about how he would judge, how he would separate, all these different things, how he would judge the nations, right? So we know that at first there has to be a judgment, right? There has to be a Shaphat. After the Shaphat, there's a double portion. After the double portion, after we receive this word, then the people go into their order, the 7th day, right? On the 7th day, they go into Shabbat. On the 8th day, we know that's the order of Melchizedek, right? So the double portion is to sustain you the next day, right? That's why you got a double portion. So let's look at this. Go to 2 Kings 2. So what's about to happen with us is that the manna's going to cease. Those that the Most High set apart going to receive a double portion come next year. That's right. That's right. Because they're going into their order. They're going to function, right? It's not the kingdom. It's not the 8th day yet, right? But they're going to function because they're there to do what? Gather. 2 Kings 2. I'm going to start at verse 19. In verse 9. And it came to pass that they were going over that Elijah said to Elisha, ask what I should do for thee before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a what? Double portion of your spirit be upon me. So, let's keep going. 10. And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I'm taken from thee, it shall be unto thee, but if not, it shall not be so. Right? If you're in the right place at the right time. 11. And it came to pass, still they went on and they talked, and behold, there was a certain chariot of fire, appeared a chariot of fire, and horses of fire, and it departed them both asunder. Parted them, I can't read my own thing, both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into Shammai. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his clothes and rent them into how many? So going back to the 2, right? The double. Right? He took up also the what? Because this double portion is going to be the mantle of the ancestors. Mashiach says you do what? Greater works. So right now, those that gather, the Shalakim, they're the ones who did what? Gather. There's the one who what? Received the manna. Yahushua says that he is that what? Manna that came down from heaven, right? So those that received it, they had a time that even they gather, and then what? The manna ceased. Right now we in the awakening. We're finding out who we are again. Going back to the original context. We really right now operating the way that Shalakim operated during that time period. But why? Because the manna ceased and there was a what? Sword. Now we're going into what? Our order. He took the mantle of Elijah that fell on him, and he smote the waters and said, where is Yahuwah Elohim of Elijah? That's a bold thing to say. And when he had smitten the waters, they parted thither, and Elijah went over. And when the sons of the prophets, and then who? The who? Do you know really that's the school of the prophets? When the sons of the prophets, or the school of the prophets, which were viewed at where? Now remember now, the manna ceased where? In the wilderness. And then you saw a sword where? In Jericho. So Elisha, his father Elijah, he was taken up. That was his manna. That was the word. Elijah was the word that Elisha received.
That was a harvest.
Say it again?
That was a harvest. And then there was a seed planted in Elisha. Mm-hmm. So the seed time and harvest always back to back.
That's right.
Some took up, even with Yahusha, when he was took up as the harvest.
Right.
The pearl that was found in the field.
That's right.
And there was a seed planted in the apostles.
That's right.
And then they plant, and then now there's another harvest to be gathered.
Because they had to be crushed first, right?
Exactly.
Because we are the what? We're the children of the prophets, exactly. according to Stephen. Right. So, Stephen, I think he wanted to quote that. Anyway, the context is that if they didn't, our survival or our existence in this time frame is because somebody from that time survived.
Right.
Somebody planted the seed, and now we're still here. So now, like you said, seed time and harvest. Now we are shooting up, right? So again, we got Elijah and Elisha, and they came to meet them, and they bowed them down. Right, my bad. Verse 15. And the sons of the prophets which view at Jericho saw him. The ruach of Elijah doth rest on Elisha, and they came to meet him. So they realized that he had the double portion. Everybody got that? They realized that Elisha received a double portion in the mantle. So the school of prophets or the ministers followed him. They went to get him because he had a double portion. And they came to meet him, and they bowed themselves down before the ground with him. They understood that the order was with him. You know, it's funny, got my mind with the movie quotes, like the force is strong with this one. Kind of thing. You dig what I'm saying? So, but that's where it's at. Because of this double portion in that time period, those that are ministers are going to go seek the ones who have it, and they're going to come under that order, right? Because they've been sent out. They're the ones supposed to what? Gather. And they know how to gather, and they know how to gather according to what? The word, right? Or the word that's given.
Pause. Now, families, now you see how everything is lining up, how he's telling you that. That's why that hidden manna, families, is the word, families, the bread of life, families. That's what that hidden manna was, families. And families, it's meant to gather those families that has an ear to hear, man. You don't have itching ears. You're not out there looking for vain doctrine or false doctrines or fables and stuff like that. People saying and, if, and but and stuff like that. No, families. No. You're going to have sound doctrine. Pure, sound doctrine. And families, you can only find it through the scriptures. Once you close the book, you no longer got truth behind your lips, man. Everything else is delusional. It's delusional. Unless you could show me a prophet that can back up what you speak. That's what I'm trying to tell you, people. My brothers and sisters, people is not preparing us to get into this wilderness. And what type of manna you're going to be eating when you make it to the wilderness if the Most High choose you to go. What is this manna? Are you going to complain like your forefathers did? No, you want me to tell you how I know you're not going to complain? Because the Most High is not going to set it up like that. They complain when they got the manna. They complain. This second wave, families that make it to the wilderness this go around, we're going to know exactly what it is. Let's go, families.
The mishpat, the judgment, right? Verse 16. And they said unto him, behold, now that we be thy servants. Now you know this is Isaiah 61, right? And they said unto him, behold, now there be with thy servants 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek thy master. Let's suppose a peradventure that the Ruach of Yahuwah have been taking him up and cast him somewhere on a mountain somewhere. They're like, man, we don't even know where he went. Maybe he's somewhere else we can go find him. Or some valley. And he said, ye shall not sin. And when they urged him till he was ashamed, and he said, sin. And they sent therefore 50 men. They saw 3 days, but they didn't find him. Because we know he went up and he was taken. But you're getting the context.
It was revealed to him.
Right.
They weren't of the same revelation.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because they were under his order. He received what? The double portion. And if we went through after this time during Elisha started doing all the things that Elijah did, and then even further, greater works. So Elisha did even greater works, right? What he went on to do than Elijah, because he received what? The double portion. But it was right during the place where the sword was, with Jericho. Let's keep going. Isaiah 61, 6-7. I mean, same thing. It's crazy because remember when the widow had a son that was dying? So Elisha had another woman who had a son who died, right? Elisha had to go and revive him. It's 3 times we could revive him, but it was 2 times for Elisha. 2 different things. 2 different times he had to spread over the young child before the child resurrected. You got to say something? I thought you had your hand up. So he's looking at this. So that's that double portion. And he went right off into that. But the school of prophets was established under him because of the double portion.
He raised the dead twice. So Elisha, he had raised the child, when he died. And then even in his death, when it said a dead body was thrown onto his body.
That's right.
And just the fact that it touched his body, it brought life back to that body that was thrown on him. So he did twice as much as what Elijah did. And everything that Elijah did, he multiplied it.
That's right. So that's what we heading into. The time that we about to get into, we're going to break down the literal time that we heading into is the time of the double portion. Because those that have received the manna are going to have it, and then the manna's going to cease. Elijah's going to ascend. You understand what I'm saying? Elijah's going to ascend. The word is going to stop. I'm getting to the physical, literal elements of that. It's going to stop. So you're going to have to go to the school of prophets. You have to go and find Elisha. And I ain't mean it's like worship, but you have to do like they did. You have to bow yourself down and recognize that the word is with him. Because there's a whole lot of this.
It's going to be a very humbling day for many, and I'm not saying that in an arrogant sense. I'm just saying, just think about it. If people can't do that in the sense of now, when it's happening on a simple level in regards to assemblies and the ministries that Yahuwah are bringing revelations to now, how much more when it manifests and you know that the word is with a specific person.
That's right.
Or with a specific ministry. If you can't do it now, then you won't be able to do it then.
Right.
So how much more will you face that double wall?
That's right.
And that double wall kind of counts as a double restriction.
That's right.
It's like if your parents tell you to do something and tell you don't do something, and then you do it again. They say, hey, if I got to tell you this twice, then here comes the whooping. How much more with Yahuwah? It's a double restriction for those who are not able to humble themselves in this day and get the double portion that will sustain them in the time to come.
Because look, if we even look at this, we look at Elijah. Elijah was Yehoshaphat before he ascended.
Yeah.
He came He met with the prophets of Baal, and he became a sword to them. He spoke the mishpat, right? because of proving who the real Elohim is.
Yeah.
Right? And then after that, he took the sword and he slayed many. Right? Now, so, and then after that, his ministry was taken up. But the only person that received it was a person received his ministry
was the one who was submitted to him. Yeah, he tarried. That's right. He tarried with him.
Right.
Yep.
So let's look at that. Isaiah 61 verse 6 through 7. But ye shall be called the priest of Yahuwah. Men shall call you the ministers. That's what happened to Elisha. We just read it. He received a double portion, and then the school of the prophets had come to him. They say, man, the Most High is with you now. You got the juice. For real, that's what they're saying. Now you got the juice. Right? Hey, you're right. Priest shall call you. They should call you the priest of Yahuwah. Men shall call you the minister of Elohim. Why? Because you got a double portion. Yeah, you kicked Bishop off the top of the roof. You made that you made that separation out. You was the Shabbat for Bishop, right? So now you got the Jews. You shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame, you gonna have what? A double portion. And for confusion, they shall rejoice in your portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting Simcha shall be unto them. So let's look at this. Again, Zechariah 9, verse 12 through 14. Turn you to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Of hope. You a prisoner to hope. You a servant to hope. Because, say again. That's right. That's right.
Shout out to the big J Lunch.
Right.
Run along and ask your bishop who got the juice.
That's right.
That's that bar.
Again, turn to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Even today, I do declare that what I render double unto thee. That's that word. It's also that double head. When I have bent Yehuda for me, that word all really means to trample. Going back to what you just said. And filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece. Anyway, there's a whole nother lesson for that. And be made a sword of a mighty man. That's your Shaphat. And Yahuwah shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as lightning. And Yahuwah shall blow the trumpet and go with the whirlwinds of the south. Now let's look at this. That's your judgment. Because there's also a judgment that goes from the people who have the double portion. Because the people that had a double portion are also a judgment. So we talked about where we at right now, and this is what Most High gave me. And when we're looking at what this is. So we're going into year 2020. The year 2020 is going to be the year of clarity. It's going to be the year of the double portion. The double portion is what's going to bring the clarity. When the school of prophets were looking who to go to, they knew because the 2020 was on Elisha, the double portion. They had a clear vision, knew which way to move, which way to go. So again, it's the judges. Remember the judges, the Shaphat are also what? The priests. They're the Levites. So now we understand who the priests and who not the priests. We understand who's in the order, who's not in the order. We understand who takes gifts, right? Who perverts the judgment of the people, right? And who sets who is a protector and a purger of the nation. Because in 2020, it's going to be clear. Let's look at that. Romans 10, verse 13 through 15. For whosoever shall call upon the name of Yahuwah shall be saved. But how then can they call on him on whom they have not believed? And how should they believe in him on whom they not heard? How should they hear without a preacher or a moreh? How shall they moreh teach except he be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the basar of shalom and bring glad tidings of good things. Let's go to Isaiah 52. Right? So we in this time period. Because those that have the double portion are the ones that was going to go out. It was the Shalakim who had a double portion, so they went out. It was Elisha who had a double portion, so he went out. So now we in this time, we're going to receive a double portion and we're going to go out. The going out is going to be the latter rain. Because the Most High is going to establish himself, right? He's going to establish a school of prophets under this first fruit, who are also the vessels of ministry. They're the priests. They're the Shaphats. They're the ones who have the Debar Mishpat. They have the word of judgment. They have the rod in their mouth, right? Isaiah 52. Whenever I get there. One second, y'all. All right. I'm sorry, verse 7. All right. Now remember, he said, he talks about these people that's being sent out, right? At a specific time. These people have a double portion, right? And he says, but how can the people learn unless it be from a moray? And how can he teach unless he be sent? Why is that? Because the manna has ceased. There's only a certain people that have it. Everybody didn't have Elisha's double portion. Just Elisha had a double portion. Right? So if you go read in Elisha's ministry, everybody had to come to him everywhere he went. The woman who had a child that died, after she died, she looking for Elisha. She took him up to a room, set him in a room, and closed the door. And then she asked her husband, "Can I go get a horse and go find Elisha?" That's what she said. So I'm gonna hop on a horse. She asked her husband, "Can I go and find him?" "I gotta go find him." So she went searching for him. Why? Because the manna had ceased. There's a drought of the word. Right? But those that have the double portion have the ability. Isaiah 52, start at verse 7.
Rahab was in Jericho.
That's right.
Yeah, so when Jericho came down, she knew who had the portion.
That's right.
She knew who, even with Elisha, there was the Syrian.
That's right.
Captain.
Naaman?
Yeah.
Yeah, Naaman, yeah.
Yeah. He heard about Elisha having his portion.
So what you're saying is that the Most High is going to make their name great in the earth. Because it's going to bring him glory. But those people have to be first purged before they can be set into their order.
And he could only receive healing once he heeded Elisha's instructions.
That's right.
Because he tried to do it with heeding some of his instructions.
That's right.
But he couldn't receive the healing.
So basically he was trying to gather the manna the way he wanted to gather it.
But he had to keep Elisha's Torah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because he had a double portion out. And he had the mountain.
He became a lawgiver.
That's right. Isaiah 52, verse 7. How beautiful, that's what he was quoting, right? He says, after he talked about the people that sent, he says, and how should they preach unless they be, how should they teach unless they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them who teach or preach the Basar of Shalom, right? So let's see what Shaul is getting this from. Verse 7, Isaiah 52, 7. How beautiful are the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth the Basar of good tidings, and publishes Shalom, and bringeth good tidings of good, and publishes the salvation, and saith the Zion that Elohim reigneth. That's what we all doing right now, everybody. Thy watchmen shall lift up thy voice. Their watchmen shall lift up thy voice. Why? Because they are shafats, they're judges. With the voice together they shall sing. So the watchmen are singing. Interesting. They shall see eye to eye. So these people are going to have this word, and they're going to be at one accord and be able to speak things on the same level. This is the reason why we go around now and talk about the order of Melchizedek. People think we crazy. Say it again.
It's many voices, but it's one voice of many waters, like Mashiach.
Right.
Because they preach the same message as Mashiach.
Why? Because they ate the same spiritual meat and drank the same spiritual drink.
That's right.
Right? So this is how I can be in Dallas and y'all be teaching something we ain't even taught.
Yeah.
Or Malachi could be in Colombia and have the same word when we had a prayer meeting.
Yeah, that's that synchronicity.
Or they be out in Dallas in the same thing, or New Orleans with Jay or whatever, and have the same, again, the synchronicity, because everything is coming together because we ate the same spiritual meat and drunk the same spiritual drink. So in that time, those who can receive it, those that have been initiated, they also receive a double portion because they are the ones who gather. So the question is, who's doing the gathering?
Yeah.
Right? Who is receiving that manna? Because after a while, that manna is not going to be readily available. Yeah. You have to ask your husband to go find a horse and go talk to Elisha
expediently.
Right?
It's crazy, because like you said, the synchronicity of the messages. When it since we've been down here, when it first started happening, I'm like, okay, this is just too consistent for this to be some type of coincidence. Now, months later, every meeting we come in here, every Shabbat we come in here, I just prepare the midrash and all of us be on one accord.
That's right.
That's literally how it's going. And it's not just here. Like you said, it's all over the country with every ministry. They're on one accord.
That's right.
Yahuwah has us going in one accord. One voice, many waters.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Let's look at that. Let's read that one more time. For the watchmen shall lift up their voice. With the voice together. They sing now. The watchmen, they don't just talk, they sing. Right? For they shall see eye to eye. They got the same vision, right? When Yahuwah shall bring them again. So those people that had that same vision, they the ones getting brought back out. Break forth into joy, sing together. That's what we were doing earlier. Ye waste places in Jerusalem. For Yahuwah have comforted his people. He have redeemed Jerusalem. Yahuwah have made bare his holy arm in the eyes of the nations. Now this is what get crazy. This is the reason why this is the order of Melchizedek. Because everything that what they did to Yahushua is what they did to us. Remember, he's the right arm. But remember, they gambled for what? His vesture. They gambled for his garment. They stripped him. So what they do with us? They stripped us. They gambled for us. It's called the what they call it? The gamble for Africa. Then it became what? The race to the new world. They gambled for us and they stripped us bare. In his only arm in the eyes of all the nations, and in the end of the earth shall see the salvation of our Elohim. Depart ye, depart ye. Go out from hence. This don't sound like coming together, do it. Depart ye, depart ye. Go ye out from hence. Touch not the unclean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her. Be ye clean, bear the vessel of Yahuwah. For ye shall not go out with haste, nor by flight. For Yahuwah will go before you, and the Elohim of Israel will be your reward. That's about to get deep. You gotta listen to this closely. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be Elisha. The school of prophets came down and submitted themselves under him. He's gonna be exalted. We know Yahushua was also what? Exalted. Right? And extolled and very high. As many that were astonished at his visage, right? Was so marred more than any other man. We know that that's what Yahushua, when they beat him, right? We know that's also us in the captivity. Nobody has been done like us. Nobody's visage, their countenance, their lives have been destroyed more than our people. Listen now. Listen what he says. And far more than the sons of men. 15, that's about to get real deep. So shall he sprinkle many nations. Why would you sprinkle the nations? What are you sprinkling them with? Blood. Because what? The priest, who is also what? The Shaphat. Right? Yahu's Shaphat. Right? They sprinkle blood on what? The vessel of ministry. And cleanses them. We'll get even deeper in this in a minute. He sprinkles many nations. The king shall shut their mouth. They ain't gonna have nothing to say about this. Look, this is what I'm telling you. The double portion is gonna be so crazy, because it's gonna shut the mouths of everybody. What you about to say?
It's going to be like when the 3 Hebrew boys was in the furnace and the king said, look, basically I'm just paraphrasing, this thing is so undisputable,
right,
that if anybody says anything against their almighty one, I'm coming for you.
Right.
That's how the kings of the earth are going to be, who understand what this is and what time they're in. Because if not, then they know it's their destruction.
That's right.
You know, so they're going to submit to it as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Now let's look at this now. So they're gonna be priests. Why? Because they're gonna sprinkle many nations with blood. The kings should shut their mouth. They ain't gonna have nothing to say about it. For which had not been told them, shall they see. Say it again. For that which had not been told them, they shall see.
It's Ruaco.
It's Ruaco matters, right? 2020 vision, right? But what are they seeing? Melchizedek. There's many things to say, but hard to be uttered, hard to be spoken, right? Because it's manhood. Why? Because they're the priest. The scripture says they shall call you Melchizedek. They'll call you the priest of Yahuwah, right? You're going to sprinkle many nations. Why? Because you're a priest. And the things that you're going to say are things that haven't been said. Exactly. Sealed up for a time. Again, for that which had not been told them, they gonna see. And that which had not been heard, they gonna consider it. These people. These are the people that are sent according to Shaul. Remember, that was his precept. These are people that sent. These are one who preach. Why? Because the manna has ceased. Everybody don't know this. Everybody heard this. Everybody can't deliver it. Everybody haven't gathered on the proper days. They haven't listened to the commandment of Moshe. Isaiah 52 verse 15. So he shall sprinkle many nations again. The kings shall shut their mouths, for that which had not been told them they shall see, and that which had not heard, they're going to consider it. They're going to understand. That's why we speaking mysteries to people. It's another mystery. 2020. Because the kaf is 20. 2020. The kaf in ancient Hebrew is an open hand. So in 2020, it's a double portion. Both hands. Pouring out. Receiving, right? The double portion. So in this time period, the question is, the only ones that are going to receive the double is those that gather. And also those who are judges, who can discern between good and evil, or the context what you saying earlier about the holy and the profane, the set apart and the profane, because they're the priests. So we got to understand that in this time period, this is the Most High showing us 2020. It's the double portion, the kaf, the two hands. Exactly, because he said what? He says, what if, he said, I'll open you up a window of blessing that you won't even be able to receive. Say it again.
He said these blessings I'll pour out upon you and they'll overtake you. In the sense of, okay, Yahuwah, this is enough. I'm good. And he like, nah, here's some more.
That's right. That's right.
Two open hands, as much as you can carry. Yeah. They got to get what's being said. Go ahead, go ahead.
So this is the reason why, again, going back to Elisha, right? So Elisha is like Yahusha. He ascending, right? And then after that, Elisha was able to receive a double portion, right? And be able to go into his order and do greater works and greater things. Double the portion. In the valley of Jehoshaphat, after the judges was set, judgment came, right? And then after that, they received what? A double portion. After the judges were set up, after Yahu's Shaphat went forth. This is the reason why we keep talking about the separation this whole year, starting from the beginning, was the halukah. The separation, the double separation. The hard words, the sharp words. Who can receive this? Who can be initiated during that time period? Because blessed are the feet of them. Why? Because they came down at Elisha's what? Feet. They came down to bow at his feet and recognized that he was the priest of the Most High. They was the school of prophets. They were the ones that were set apart.
They said, some say you are Elijah. Okay.
All right. So let's look at this. So, but remember now, the manna was given where? In the wilderness. I say the wilderness. But Midbar. Numbers. So, we ain't gonna read all the numbers. But the first two chapters of Numbers, they're numbering the people. You gotta understand the double portion to understand why they was numbering people. It's interesting that when you talk about the 144,000, which also are Melchizedek, the Melchizedekian order, it talks about those, it gives you the number of them because they've been numbered. The first part of Numbers, when they start off, the first thing that Moshe does is what? Number the people. Say it again out.
In order to my bad, I'm running back and forth. In order to give an accurate portion, you have to have a precise or accurate number.
All right. So again, the word, I can never pronounce it right. Midbar. Is that how you pronounce it right? All right. I can never pronounce it right. It means the wilderness or the desert. So, those that are in the desert. Because why? In the desert is where all this took place. It was in the wilderness. It was in the wilderness that the manna came. It was in the wilderness that the manna ceased. Right? But there was a double portion for a certain group of people. People that are numbered in Yahuwah's host. Now let's look at this, y'all. Jeremiah 32 verse 2. The people which were left of the sword, where? In the midbar, or in Numbers, right? Which you know they don't mean numbers, but that's the book of Numbers, right? In the wilderness, they found grace. They found the hat. They was protected, right? Because it was a double wall. Because again, it's a harder word. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's go to Exodus 30. So you say, like, why would you say Numbers and go to Exodus? Because the events in Exodus is what they're talking about in Midbar. Let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Shemot. It's crazy. Now, why would Shemot be the names and then Numbers be the wilderness? All right, but anyway, let's look at this.
It's because it's seed time and harvest. So Exodus was a harvest, and then Numbers was a seed time, because the seeds that come during seed time come from the harvest.
Right. You're right. All right. Yeah. So let's look at this, y'all. Let's look at this. You gotta understand the double portion. You gotta understand those that are numbered. If I say those that are numbered, you want to be. You remember me saying this song? I want to be in the number. Yeah. Right. Yeah, but you wanna why? Because they haven't ate. They ate their bread, they ain't drinking their cup, and they gonna bow down to Elisha. They're gonna bow down because the Most High has to set his name apart so his ministry can go forth. He always establishes the name of his minister, and then he gets to through the works that he does, and it brings him glory. But it's only those that are set apart. Exodus 30, let's start at verse 11. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, saying, when thou take the sum of the children of Israel after their what? After they number, they shall give every man a what? A ransom. So every time you think about numbering, right? You think about Dawid. Dawid did what? He numbered the people. So everything, man, Dawid sings, he numbered people. You ain't supposed to number the people. That's not true. We see that right now. Moshe about to number the people, right? So why was it an issue to Dawid to number the people? For one, that's the first thing you got to ask yourself. And what does that got to do with ransom? Say it again, sis. Oh, okay. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. So they shall give every man a ransom. You go to that word. She already burned that out. That word really is kofar or kafar. It means he should get. It's a covering or an atonement. So these people are an atonement now. They're a covering. Or they have to give a covering. Let's look at this. For his soul, his nephesh, unto Yahuwah, when thou numberest them, so he wasn't just numbering them, to be numbering them, right? That there shall be no plague among them. What? So these people that are numbered, now, if you search through all the scriptures, you'll find out that these people are also the people that are numbered for the host. Remember, Yahushua is the captain of what? Right? So these people are in the host. So at a certain age, they are numbered to be a part of this. They're numbered to be leaders, they're protectors, right? Or shafats within the nation. Let's look at this. For his soul unto Yahuwah, when thou numberest them, there shall be no plague among them when thou numberest them. This shall give a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary. A shekel is what? It's 20? So hold on. So a shekel is 20. Let's look at this. So they got to have a shekel. And to have a shekel should be the offering unto Yahuwah. So they got to give an offering. That offering is their atonement. So they number the people, right? In the wilderness, the midbar, right? They number the people. The people have to give an offering. The offering is their atonement. Now, that's the first time I saw it, I was like, what? It's their atonement. You don't say it just like randomly. No, for their souls. Everybody that's 20 years and up. So everybody that's 20 years up have to give a shekel, which is 20 garris. 20. Let's get going. Or half a shekel, which is 10 of 20. Right? It's a tenth, which is also what? A tithe. 15. The rich shall give no more, and the poor shall not give any less a shekel when they give the offering to Yahuwah to make an atonement So it's definitely, so you go, your word right there, atonement. This is to make an atonement for their souls. 16. And thou shalt take the atonement money. Let's see what that's for. Of the children of Israel shall appoint it to what? So the numbering of the people was to set in order the priesthood. 20 people. At the age of 20, they'll take a tenth of a 20. Right? The 2020. Right? Through that, it's salvation unto them, and it stores and it blesses the storehouse. So right now, we're the 10th. We're the first fruit. In 20 of coming to the time of 2020, the 220s, right? The time of kaf, or the open hand, because when they're numbered, they can't come empty-handed, right? They have to bring an offering. That offering is a atonement not only for their souls, but it sets in order the priesthood. It sets in order the temple. So anyway, let's keep going. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, thou shalt make, it goes on to the labor of brass and all that, but y'all get the context. So I'm getting you to see. So where did this happen at? This happens where? In the wilderness. So it's in the wilderness that there's an atonement made for their souls. Through what? The blessing that they give unto the sanctuary, right? But it happens on when they come in the age of 20, and they have to give a shekel, which is a 20. But the shekel that they give is a tenth, so they give a tithe of that, which is the first fruit. Again, you already broke that down. Exodus 12, we're taking the sum of the children of Israel, and the number they shall give every man a ransom, a kofar, a kafar for his soul to Yahuwah, without numbers them, and there should be no plague among you. So through all this, it secures a nation, right? When those that are numbered. So now we are numbered amongst the nation, right? When we come of age, when we become grown, right? Because we're no longer what? On milk, right? So we're not going to be empty-handed when we go into our order. And through that, we establish the house of Yahuwah. We establish the priesthood. Because the money that's taken from the numbering is what establishes the house. We just read that. What else I got? We already read that. So let's look at this. Last thing I'm going to say. So during all this time, remember, this happened in the wilderness, right? Manna ceased in the wilderness. The setting up of the numbering of the host, right, happened in the wilderness. It was initiated in the wilderness. All these things took place in the wilderness. So now we're at a time point where we are in the wilderness. We're transitioning, right? We're going into a year of 2020. We're going to the kaf. We're going to the double portion, the open hands, the blessing, the double portion that you receive if you ate the manna, if you've gathered the manna. Why? Because the manna will cease. YouTube, term service on December 10th. YouTube may terminate your access or your Google accounts access to any part of the service of YouTube believes. In its sole discretion, that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. So what that means is that if YouTube feel like that you're not making money for them, they can shut your channel down. YouTube has new term service on December 10th that basically says that if channels don't make enough money, they will possibly terminate them. Looks like I fought to the very end, but now maybe close to losing my livelihood, losing my passion and my audience, whatever. Again, creators, are you safe? YouTube, new policy on December 10th, 2019. So now we're in this time period. We understand about a double portion. We know in the year 2020, which is clear vision, it's also 400. Right? We know that after 400 years, the Most High said he's going to judge that nation. We know that the judgment comes with the Shaphat, the Yahushaphat. Once Yahushaphat set the judges in place, then they went to their double portion. The double portion is when the people are numbered, right? Also, because when people are numbered, there's a harvest that comes. There's a blessing that comes within the storehouse. But all that stuff is beginning with the cutting off of the manna. So right now we in a time, and I've been saying this for a while. We said this like I said, about 4 months ago or something like that, 4 or 5 months ago. Right. Exactly. You better go and gather them videos after they take them off of YouTube.
Listen.
Right? In 6 days. Stuff's crazy, man. I'm telling you. So we're looking at this. This is the warning, like I said from last time, and this is the reason why you know all this stuff is serious. What time is it? 8:43. Okay. So there's coming a time when the whole movement is going to shift, right? And only those who have a double portion is going to move forward. As of right now, anybody can be a moray in Israel. Anybody. I got a phone, I'm a moray. Being real. Being real. I got a phone, I'm a moray. I got a laptop, I'm a moray. Right? I can press live, I'm a moray. Yeah. And most of these people have not proved they haven't done any service anywhere. They haven't served anywhere. They haven't done, or some of them have and they're still crazy, but you understand what I'm saying? So a lot of these people has not been proven. Like Shaul said, some people were sent. And he says, how can they teach unless they be what? Sent. Some of them were sent and some of them went. I say probably about, in my explanation, probably about 80% of them went. Being real. Because you can just see the fruit of it. And see how a lot of people's lives are being destroyed by people going. So the judgment has been established. Remember at the beginning of the year, the Most High gave me the Halukkah vision. That's where it's been bam, 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 bam. That's what's been going on. And now we head into this time when YouTube is talking about how they're going to shut this down. This is going to, I'm telling y'all, this is going to completely change the face of the awakening. Completely. It's coming a time that if you're not in the house, remember that was the other word that we had last week. If you're not in the house, if you're not in the assembly, you're not going to be able to follow most of these people on YouTube. It could be us. We don't make no money on YouTube. We don't take no money. Like, matter of fact, a long time ago, we were trying to initiate Super Chat so people could donate. That's the only reason why we turn on the monetization, but so we can actually have Super Chats so people can donate. But they wouldn't allow us to do that. For no reason. They didn't give us a reason for not doing it. They just said, we're not going to allow you to have Super Chat. So, our videos are not really not monetized. They monetize just a couple of documentaries. I don't know how they was able to get away with that. So, we don't make them no money. They don't make no money from us. So, saying it to say so, they could just shut us down. Say it again?
They've already started doing it, actually. There's a sister, I don't know, a lot of people follow her. A lot of Hebrews follow her. She does vegetarian cooking, but she also preaches and teaches in the midst of her cooking and stuff.
Right.
Her name is Mama Chef Rosa. She went on her channel and she had 400 videos. They took 398 of them down.
Yeah. So, now, again, so you got that going on. When everybody, and pretty much the whole movement now, they move off Facebook and YouTube. Most people are not in assemblies, right? I mean, they took us off YouTube. We just gonna go to our website and just keep moving, right? That's what we're gonna do. But we have actual assemblies. A lot of people don't. A lot of people have cell phones.
So, real quick, just in the same way that Yahuwah takes a numbering, an account, a census, he numbers his people. These people who are managing these content websites, YouTube, Facebook, they are numbering people too.
That's right. That's right.
They're collecting data. And so we want to be careful who we're being numbered with.
That's right.
Because the shepherd or even the master of the vineyard is going to come to examine the harvest to take some for himself. And we know that Hasatan sits waiting to sift you like wheat.
That's right.
Hasatan is waiting to gather you so that you could be numbered with his tares so he might take some for himself.
Right.
And so even in this time when we're looking at what we're putting out there on the internet, who we're aligning ourselves with. We got to be careful who we're being numbered with, because this thing is like we see it right here. It's coming to fruition. Fruit is being produced and things are being collected.
That's right. So, and where we at right now, see, these things, the people in the awakening has taken for granted the ease of access, right? So, again, there's coming a time when that's going to cease. The manna's going to cease. You're not just going to be able to go and, I'm just going to sit and listen to, everybody on Shabbat and all this other stuff. You're going to have to actually do some work. You're going to have to actually be in the assembly. You're going to have to actually have some contact with somebody. You're going to have to actually be submitted under some type of ministry. Because going back to what I'm talking about the manna, those that gather was able to get the double portion on the sixth day that sustained them through the 7. So what's going to happen is this move, whenever this stuff start happening, it's going to starve out and end ministries. What's going to happen?
You're right, Doc. And to double back on what you're saying and what Yosef was saying, most people have to understand that even though this YouTube avenue is used for righteous sense with rebirth,
right?
When that cutoff is made, Hasatan knows that 80% of the people who are watching, because they don't have that easy access, they're going to turn back to carnality. They're going to turn back to the world. So he's sifting them out back to himself.
That's right.
Yeah, they don't have that life source. If it was to happen on the 10th and the channel was to be cut off, they won't have that direct life source, so he'll take them back to himself. He'll show that they weren't really dedicated to Yahuwah, and they weren't really dedicated to receiving this double portion.
Right, and so and let me be clear what I mean when I say double portion. When I say double portion, I'm not talking about money.
Yeah.
Right? I'm talking about the double revelation in Shalom. There's going to be a double revelation. Like the Most High has been giving us revelation about a lot of things as of late. But there's going to be a greater revelation and there's going to be a greater mantle. And that's what people are going to receive in 2020. It don't mean that you're going to get it, like, it ain't like, this ain't Christianity. You're going to get a new car. It ain't no mess like that. It's your season. None of that foolishness. What it means is that there's going to be ministries and people that's going to receive mantles. Those mantles and the giftings during that time is going to be a double portion like Elisha. And they're going to go in power. And it's going to be through power. Remember that Shaul said he didn't go teaching in man's wisdom, but boy, in demonstration and in power. So there's a time that there's going to be power. Remember, the Most High said that he said the second Exodus is going to be greater than the first, and that we do greater works. We've been doing works. I mean, praise Yah, we've been seeing that even in our ministry. We done had that works. Got people get healed, people get delivered, demon cast out, all that kind of stuff. But there's got to be a greater work that take place. There's got to be a massive work that takes place. We only have a short time. Right? So there's got to be a massive work that takes place. So there's going to be places there's going to be ministries that's going to receive the mantle and receive a double portion, and they're not going to need Facebook, and they ain't going to need YouTube, because what they're going to do going to be so spectacular, the people going to be flocking. I'm going to tell you, I'll give you an example, which is different, but it was happening in church. Azusa Street. When Azusa Street happened, they didn't have Facebook and YouTube. And if anybody don't know about the history of church, but they had this movement called Azusa Street Revival, and for a long time nobody was trying to receive the Ruach, right? So during this time period, it was these white guys who was trying to receive it. Of course, they couldn't, and it took a Hebrew. I keep on forgetting the dude's name, but the dude went, and he wasn't even allowed to be in their prayer meetings because he was black. He had to go sit on the porch and listen to them while they was having their prayer meetings. But what happened was he went to whatever building in California, and he started praying with other Negroes. And after that, the Ruach fell upon them, and it became a worldwide phenomenon. People from all over the world was going there. So again, we know they were still caught up in Christianity, but every spiritual movement happened with us, right? Every last one of them. So when we're looking at this, it's going to be the same kind of thing. They didn't have Facebook, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't need you. Those that's going to go forward, they ain't going to need those things, because the exploits are going to be so crazy. The things that they're going to do is going to be, that double portion is going to be so insane that people, like, even if they don't report it on television, what's going to happen is when you see a whole city be on it, you can't get it off TV for a while, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to be whole cities. It's going to be like you go into a place and then everybody in that city be in a whole uproar like they used to be with the Shalakim. They go in and start casting out spirits in Ephesus, right? And then it's so much of an uproar that everybody knows what's going on. That's what's going to happen with the double portion. And it don't mean it's going to happen on January 1st or whatever. That ain't what I'm saying either, because, Negroes be getting all out of pocket. What I'm saying is this. I'm going to let you say that what you about to say. What I'm saying is 2020 is the beginning of that. It's the beginning of it. How long it's going to take, I don't know. It could take 2 years from then for that to happen. I don't know. Like I told you, I ain't no prophet. All I do is deliver the words that the Most High give me. And like it was with the beginning of this year with Halukkah, and what I'm seeing with this year is the double portion. It's the same thing with Mo been seeing the same thing. It's the mantles and people going into their order, going into the ministry and doing these things. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm in full agreement with that, and I believe that everyone whose expectation is a double portion is in agreement with that as well. But I want to give the flip side to that, to those who are not looking towards the double portion in regards to the Ruach and the Revelation. What they're going to receive is a double portion, but it's going to be a double portion of delusion.
That's right.
It's going to be a closing of the eyes and the mind, and it's going to be so much so that they're going to be walking in reprobateness, like Nebuchadnezzar when he was walking on all fours, when he got his delusion, and when his mind was in full reprobateness. So it's duality. You have those who receive the double portion of Ruach and the Revelation, then you'll have those who receive the reprobate mind, the delusion, the closing of the eyes and the closing of the mind. Like what Joseph said, who are you being numbered with?
That's right. Yeah. And see, this the thing too, going back with all that. And this is the reason why, I'm going to tell you something. The ones who supported the ones that get a double portion is going to get a double portion also. This is the reason why when you're looking at text about the numbering, right? The ones who gave to the sanctuary received an atonement. Look, y'all get what I'm trying to tell you. They received an atonement. They received a covering by them helping the ministry. So it's not just going to be those that's operating in it. It's going to be those that are supporting the ministry during that time period. So saying all that to say this, we'll look at this and the close on this thing what we talking about. So this is the reason why now is the time, because that's what we talking about. This is just the beginning of that. That's going to be when there's no more manna, when the manna ceases, it's not going to be easily accessible. You can't go to YouTube, when you can't go to Facebook, when you can't go on social media and get this. Then it's going to turn to, like you said, some people going to fall off and they're going to go into a strong delusion. They're going to believe a lie, right? Others are going to go stronger and they're going to have to move. They're going to have to go into places. They're going to have to find a place where they can come in fellowship. It's going to have to happen because our ancestors did that in the past. They would travel all kind of distances to go up. They would go. I mean, think about it on Shavuot. They was coming up from Persia and Babylon. It's coming from all kind of places. So everything is going to shift, and they don't mean on December 10th. So everybody, Joshua, December 10th ain't nothing changed yet. That ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that things are happening or things are going in that direction that they will shut us down. Right? And it's going to go from you doing real ministry from doing lives on Facebook. And we're going to see after that, we're going to see who got a double portion.
We're going to see who's been listening, who's just been listening. Because I feel like that's the biggest difference that I see in Mishpat and Shephat is that judgment that goes out that I'm just speaking. Whereas the Shephat is there's an actual action behind it that you have you wouldn't gather. You keep saying those of us who have been gathering. Right. And so some of us have just been listening online and that's all we've been doing. That's right. And so when it gets turned off and you actually have to throw out there and actually do the work, you're going to be like, yeah, like what am I supposed to do? You know what I mean? Because I've never done this. I've just been listening. There's no action behind what I've been listening to. And so that's the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Nobody has been out there wanting to work or do the work. And so ultimately you've just been listening. And so it's going to be like smacking into a door when it's time for you to actually get up and do something. You're going to be lost.
You're right. So what on the other day, the ones who went out, they can find none.
Right. So the people who gathered in disobedience, they're going to look at their works and everything that they've gathered disobediently, and it's going to be rotten. Right. It's going to be filled with worms. It's going to be unuseful at that point. And then those who go out to try to gather when it's not there anymore, the reason they're trying to go out and gather is because they're in a panic. Because now they're not sustained. They haven't done their due diligence to be sustained in this time. And so now they're going to go out looking for something. And they're going to find out that you have it. Some people are going to be filled with so much bitterness that they're going to try to steal yours.
That's right.
They're going to try to kill you to get yours.
That's right.
Because they didn't get their manna, so then they're going to come after you. And so that's why we have to be as wise as a serpent and pure as doves. Because we're going out as sheep amongst wolves. Because people turn into wolves. When they were sheep, they end up turning into wolves because they don't have no manna anymore. And manna is ceased. And everything that they tried to store up with their own understanding then turned to worms. That's it.
And this is the last thing I'm going to say. What's also important to recognize is the people who are looking for the revelation or who are looking for the way of life. When it comes to these platforms being shut down and it's time to go out and do the works or greater works that than Yahusha did in his day, we're going to see who's going to receive the esteem and who's going to receive the stone. Because there are going to be people who are seeking after that life bread, or who are seeking after, like the woman who hopped on a horse to find Elisha. So there will be people who are seeking like that, and they have an expectation. And if you don't deliver, then you're going to be stoned, or you're going to be killed by the same hand in which you tried to fake it to make it to impress somebody. But those who go out and who do the works and who do the things which bring life to people, or give them the sustenance in which they need in this time, they'll receive the esteem, not just from man, but they'll also receive it from Yahuwah.
Because Aaron's rod has the bud.
That's right, out. Yep.
Aaron's rod buds, meaning you're going to see who Yahuwah is with. And the people you may have trusted in and thought were going to be there aren't going to be able to know how, they're not going to know how to pray with you. They're not going to know how to fast with you. They're not going to know how to petition the Most High on your behalf because they weren't doing that. They were debating. Right. They were arguing. They were fussing. They weren't learning how to do those things.
When 10,000 dying to your right hand and to your left, and you wigging out, and you need to be delivered, and you seen all hell breaking loose, and then they're gonna talk about let's go debate the calendar.
It was a dude yesterday. He tried to debate me. Now I already know what the name is, but I'm not about to debate with nobody. So he tried to bring me to carnality. He said, "You a Pharisee." Hold on. He said, "You a Pharisee." Just like Yahusha talked about, he called them Pharisees in the temple. You one of them. So this is what I told him. I said, in regards to the name, I know what the name is. I'm not going to debate with you. All things shall be revealed by the name of Yahuwah. But here's a word of advice. Focus on building in the fruits of the Ruach. So when the name is revealed, you'll have something to stand on. You know, so that's the level that Yahuwah has me at in this time. Not debating with nobody going back and forth, because my expectation is the double portion.
Right.
My expectation is going out and doing these exploits to prove for the esteem of Yahuwah. It's not about debating carnal matters with anybody. You know,
you have to understand in this time, what things, because there's certain things that Shaul even say gender strife. There's certain things that it's not even worth talking about. It's just really not, like, or arguing about, because they don't pertain to salvation. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't understand that, man, you're gonna choke. You're gonna choke on that meat, and you're not gonna survive. Because there's always something. The reason why we read with Yehoshaphat, he sent the Shaphats out to even judge between controversies. Right? There's always a controversy amongst us, because we are controversial people. We love controversy. So if you're looking for something like that, there's something new every day that you can be sitting around trying to chop up with a certain. It's come a time and you got to be like, nah, man, like, you know, does it pertain to salvation or does it not? If it don't, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it to strive for no gain, because all you gonna do is give your 2 cents. I'm gonna give my 2 cents, and we're gonna go back and forth for an hour, and then somebody's gonna be offended, and then woe to those who offenses come. So anyway, yeah, I mean that's basically what the Most High was giving me. I'm trying to get it's a prophetic message, right? But it ain't for everybody. For whoever that's in the chat that's wigging out, and for the 4 people that always dislike. We got 4 dislikes every single video. For real. There's somebody who go. It don't matter what it is. We did an update, I think, on Baby Achaya. Achaya got healed. They dislike it. That's kind of how these people are. For them 4 people, huh?
Aki is right. It's 4 consistent people who like every Rebirth video. If they see Josh up there, they see Bo up there, they see Imam Malak up there. 4 people dislike. So you had me and Yosef up there this weekend, right? So we go through the whole from Shabbat until now. Till yesterday. I was talking to Imam about this earlier. I was like, man, it was no dislikes. Where the 4 people at? So I went to check earlier. It was 1 dislike. So Yahuwah had put it in my Ruach. He was like, Hasatan was like, man, look, ain't nobody dislike this video. I'ma press this like myself. You know what I'm saying? Literally,
Yeah. All that dude got off work. He was on 3rd shift, so he missed the video. He didn't get a chance to dislike it, so he had to come in and dislike it. But I don't think he ever. I think he just goes by update, rebirth, dislike. So anyway, but it's he that has the ear. Who that has the ear, let him hear what the rock's saying to the assemblies in this hour. If you can receive it, you receive it. If you can't receive it, don't receive it. Like I told y'all, I ain't no prophet. I'm just somebody out here trying to do this work. So if it's something that you can receive, it's something that resonates with you or that you understand, if you're in the order, if you can eat of that bread and drink of that cup, then receive it. If not, don't receive it. And then figure out what happens when the time comes. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's all I got. Anything else somebody want to say before we go? All right. Well, hey, shalom everybody in the house. Shalom everybody online. We'll talk to y'all later.